As we face the command of rapid development and technological innovation in the world, the Philippines' preparedness in advancement of its physical facilities, infrastructure, and soft skills are given focus, especially with the empowerment of teachers' capacity and capability, not only in pedagogical aspects of teaching, but the confidence in delivering instruction with the use of information and communications technology. The Office of the Undersecretary for Administration, under the leadership of USEC Alain Delby Pasqua, established the Educational Technology Unit under the Information and Communications Technology Service. Its prime function is to empower and capacitate public school teachers and learners as required by the global demand of the fast-paced development in technology. The task of the Educational Technology Unit is to promote and solidify the innovation and digitization projects that will support the requirements of the K-12 curriculum in delivering quality, accessible, relevant, and liberating education for all. It targets different components and facets of skills development, which will enable the technological advancement of the infrastructure of DepEd. This is supplemented with empowerment training programs in emerging technologies for public school teachers. The programs of the EdTech unit target the emerging pedagogies focused on open educational resources, robotics and mechatronics, coding and programming, virtual reality and augmented reality in education, mobile application development, Internet of Things, and the productivity tools for learning, which includes Microsoft Office 365, Google Apps for Education, and the different Adobe software tools. In addition, the maneuver of in-house applications such as the DepEd Commons and the DepEd Learning Management System is under the flagship of the EdTech unit. The supervision of DepEd TV in ensuring world-class produced video lessons is another task of the office. Lastly, the conduct of free online tutorial session, coined with the term eTulay, is a bridging program to support learners and parents in answering the self-learning modules pioneered with the initiative of the ICTS EdTech unit. A teacher's influence is limitless, bound with the heart for service and dedication to fulfill the greatest mission to educate the young. The ICTS Educational Technology Unit will be there to promote, to empower, and to inspire Filipino teachers and learners as we grow as a tiger in the region, hitting our target as one of the best in educational technology. Come on and join us as we make our dreams into a reality. Sama-sama tayong lahat tungo sa iisang layunin. Simulan natin ang pagbabago dahil tayo ang mga gurong magtatayo ng makabagong DepEd. Sulong Edukalidad.
Welcome back to the PM session of the virtual INSET brought to you by the Educational Technology Unit. You are still with us. I am Teacher May from SD Onavodas.
And I am Teacher Jeff from SD Las Piñas. And right now, we are actually overwhelmed with the number of teachers who are joining us for the first ever virtual INSET spearheaded by the Educational Technology Unit here at the DepEd Central Office. So we have here some teachers I would like to recognize. First, we have Eugenio M. Lopez Jr. Center for Media Arts, Senior High School, Quezon City, together with their principal, Sir Noel de los Reyes. Lamot Elementary School, Main Calawan, Laguna, with their SDS, Ma'am Gina Lynn Freyo, and their principal, Edelita Artillero. So this one is from Ma'am Jane Valdelion.
Alright. Okay, pinakabati rin po ni Christian Laura Mauro, si Ma'am Leonila Angeles ng Cruz Naligas High School, Quezon City. Ganun din po si Master Teacher Giodel Sestosa. Pinakabati din po niya si Ma'am Maria Fe Makiling Hubilio of Tangos 1 Elementary School.
Yes, and also from Pulong Masle High School teachers, together with their principal, Ma'am Shena Panganiban, and Sir Rafi V. Caballes from Claro M. Recto High School from SDO Manila.
Alright, ito naman po ay pinakabati ni Sir Marco Paolo Victoriano, lahat po sa SDO Bulacan, hi po, at kay Ma'am Myra de la Peña sa Piera, pinakabati po kay Sir Mark Anthony C.
Also from NEHS Science Department, together with their principal, Dr. Ferdinand Fontilio, and Science Department Head, Dr. Donata R. Regonton, and as well as SDO Batangas City, Dr. Felizardo O. Bolaños, and Ma'am Nieves Montalvo from Pinamukan Integrated School.
This greeting came from Sir Raymond Kasama. Hello daw po sa mga taga-General Vito Bellarmino Integrated National High School ng Selang, Cavite. Hello po sa principal nila, Ma'am Fordeliza A. De La Rosa.
Of course, our teachers also from General Emilio Aguinaldo National High School, Imus City in Cavite, with their principal, Ma'am Lerma V. Peña, and the TLE department. Greetings from Sir Michael Angelo Maleriado.
Alright, greetings po sa SDO Navotas, lalo na po sa aming STS, Sir Dr. Alibanes, at sa aking pong EPS, Dr. Marco Medoranda.
And of course, ang SDO na makikita at makakasama ng live si Sir Buds at si Sir Mark within this week, SDO Negros Oriental, Sibulan Central Elementary School from Sir James Anthony. Teachers from Region 5, Legazpi City and Albay Division from Sir Al Jerwin Apuli, Wenji Apuli, and Adonis Mura.
Alright, pinakabati rin po ni Ma'am Ruby Rose Kuya Buyan po. Ang pabati po, Juan Sumulong High School, Cubao, principal po nila ay si Mrs. Janet Dionio. Hello po!
And of course, from Sir Kim Nick Bialen, San Roque Elementary School, Division of Zamboanga City, Riza Andog of Ayala Central School, Spec Center Division of Zamboanga City, Lacandula High School, Division of Manila, and si Ma'am Beverly Sulit.
Alright, at hello po sa mga former teachers ko dyan sa Tangos National High School at Tangos Elementary School. Hello po, mga sirs.
Ayan, so I guess everyone is settled, and I know that excited na po kayo for this PM session. So we would now be proceeding to the PM session of today's in-service training for teachers. Our focus now would be on the execution of effective teaching in synchronous and asynchronous means.
Alright, may we remind you, our dear teachers, to ready your questions for our speaker for the session. Send in your questions by answering the Google Forms via the link that you can see on your screen.
Yan. Okay. So the link is already posted there, and don't forget to send in your questions, our dear teachers, para ma-address po natin agad-agad. Now, this topic would be presented to us by none other than the head of the Educational Technology Unit.
Okay, that is Sir Mark Anthony C.C. Given the opportunity to read his bio note, Mr. Mark Anthony C.C. is the head of the ICTS Educational Technology Unit. He joined the Department of Education on April 16, 2018 as the Executive Assistant 2 for the Undersecretary for Administration. With his expertise in mobile learning technology, his works were recognized by the Brothers of the South Green Hills, where he worked as a former grade school Filipino and Araling Panlipunan teacher. He served the institution as the Educational Technology Coordinator and Liaison Officer from 2013 to 2017. He established the framework of the school's Pearl program, which highlighted the effective use of technology in delivering quality instruction. In addition, with his leadership in the Pearl office, the South Green Hills was awarded as the very first Microsoft Showcase in the Philippines.
He was also invited and had given several empowerment programs locally and internationally to inspire and capacitate teachers' skills in using ICT. He is a Google Certified Innovator, and a Microsoft Education Ambassador. In 2019, he was awarded as the EdTech Leader in Asia in the K-12 category as second placer by the EduTech Asia, which was held in Singapore. In 2020, he represented the Philippines as a delegate to observe the best practices of schools in using ICT in USA and United Kingdom. With his vast knowledge and expertise in educational technology, he is one of the consultants of the Undersecretary for Administration that provides expert-level advices to continue the thrust of DepEd in delivering quality, accessible, relevant, and liberating education for the Filipino learners. For him, a teacher's influence is limitless. A true dedicated teacher with a heart for service will do everything to see the bright future of our beloved country, the Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome our speaker at this moment, Mr. Mark Anthony C.C.
Thank you for that wonderful words, Teacher Jeff and Teacher May. Good afternoon to all of our teachers who are currently tuned in. And for those participants who just knew about this virtual INSET program, please take note that it is open for all. It is voluntary. So for our session, I'll be delivering two things. The first one will be the effective delivery of a synchronous teaching methodology, and then the other one will be the asynchronous teaching methodology. It will be at 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. So we will be having two sessions here. So my dear colleagues, please take note that when we talk about effective delivery of synchronous teaching, we need to bear in mind that we are in an online environment. I know that it is difficult to have it right now in our country because we have a lot of challenges. However, we need to take note about these priorities, these objectives, on why it's important for us to understand how are we going to deliver an effective online teaching methodology, this synchronous teaching. First, we have the following objectives. All of you are expected to have this one. So let's have a focus. Number one is for you to determine the proper actions in conducting effective synchronous. I'll be sharing with you certain practices, certain techniques that will enable you to prosper as a teacher delivering an edtech instruction. I would say that these practices are also used in other countries as I have observed them, and I'll be sharing that one to you later on. Our next objective would be to devise a mechanism to troubleshoot any technical difficulties and challenges when we face that situation. I know that it's very hard for us to deliver something wherein we don't have that. What are those things? It could be your capability, your capacity, your equipment, your environment, and the support. With all these things being said, what are the alternatives? So later on, I'll be sharing some insights. Third, I'm expecting all of you to reflect practices, your current practice, and have a self-assessment in the delivery of synchronous sessions. Later on, I'll be sharing also a lot of questions. It will be interesting because we will be having an interactive session. When we say interactive, I'll be posting some questions that you need to answer. So take note of it. We'll be utilizing Menti later on. And your answer, I'll promise you, your answers, I'll toss it that to use Elaine Del Pasqua so that it will be discussed into the executive level. Your voice matters. Take note of that. Next, our fourth objective would be, I want you to propose an innovative solution to the department. If you think of a great project, an innovation project related to ICT or educational technology, please inform us, tell us. So later on in our activity, kapag itinanong ko po yun, ilagay ang inyong mga sagot. It really matters. So for now, bear in mind that this session is collaborative. I am here to listen. I am here to impart something. I am here to inspire all of you that I know you can do it. And lastly, for number 5, I want to capacitate you so that you could share that one to your colleagues to create world-class technology-based instructional materials aligned with the framework of effective teaching methodologies. Please bear in mind that when we talk about educational technology, kadugtong nito ang pedagogy. Hindi pwedeng tumakbo mag-isa ang technology na hindi tayo mahusay sa paggamit ng konsepto ng curriculum. As mentioned earlier, I am a former Filipino teacher and also a former Araling Panlipunan teacher, but it didn't stop me to venture in educational technology. It means that once you have that confidence, once you have that enthusiasm to learn, then you can do it. All of these 5 objectives is our target. To school heads and principals who are currently watching, please advise your teachers to join in our session. All of these answers will be also reflected in today's activity. Magpa-flash po ito lahat. So, let's have our first question and answer portion. My dear colleagues, please bear with me, okay? Our webinar session will be interactive, and let's start with our very first question. Let's see. My dear colleagues, please open your devices and go to menti.com for you to key in or type in the code that will be flashed onto your screen. So let's wait for our webinar director to flash it onto the screen. My very first question is, how will you describe yourself in integrating technology into classroom instruction? Would you think that your performance is actually a beginner, advanced, you're competent, you're proficient, or you're an expert? Please key in the code 7461-1495 to menti.com. Again, to proceed with this activity, go to menti.com, www.menti.com, and type down the code. The code is 7461-1495. Let's see. Why do I need to ask that? So that our executive personnel, the one in the department, would understand the capacity, the gauge of our learners. How should we work in order for us to help you? That's why my very first question, if we will ask you, what is your level in terms of utilizing technology into your classroom instruction? You have 5 options there, just choose one. And I'm very happy that we have a lot of participants here. So let's see, let's show the results now. According to our concept, we have, oops, it's moving, it's live. Thank you to Menti. As we could see, the range here is with the beginner side, which is about 30+%. Next to it will be the 29% for competent, nasa gitna. Sinusundan ng advanced, which is in the 25%. The rest will be the minority, kakaunti ang proficient at ang expert. Thank you for being honest. And with all of these things being said, alam ko ang naging dahilan kung bakit ganyan. Bakit ganyan ang confidence natin in terms of delivering instructions in technology? I know this is also your answer. Number 1, with internet connection. Do you agree? If you agree, hit like and heart. Second, I know that you're experiencing that because you don't have your own equipment. Would you agree? Again, hit like, heart, and of course, these things are remarkable. Alam namin na yan talaga ang problema. Kaya marami sa ating teachers ang nandoon sa beginner side. Dahil hindi natin maiiwasan, hanggat walang equipment na hahawakan ang mga guru natin na provided ng ating pamahalaan, ng ating kagawaran, ay talaga mahihirapan ang tinatawag natin na classroom integration utilizing technology. But rest assured that the Educational Technology Unit will continue to educate and to empower our teachers how to utilize the vast numbers of available technologies that will also run either online or offline. We will provide you several sessions on it. And this, I will assure you, this data, I will provide that one and show that one to the executives, especially to my boss, that, hey, you need to look at this data. This data shows that our teachers need help. They need assistance. And I hope after 1 year, the beginner, this data will rise up. Pangarap ko po na lahat ng mga teachers natin sa buong bansa ay maging competent sa paggamit nito at kaisa nyo ako sa laban na ito. We believe that if we need to be competent in these things, in conducting synchronous sessions, the government should provide us the quality infrastructure so teachers could deliver these quality things, and it should not be blamed to the teachers. I believe that you are doing your task very well, but you cannot deliver that effectively if the back-end side that you cannot have any control at all has a problem. And what is that? Number one, internet connectivity. Humihingi ako ng tulong sa ating mga government officials, sa ating pong mga telecommunication partners. Nakikita po ninyo sa resultang ito na beginners po ang lumalabas sa skills ng ating mga teachers. Kahit anong pagpupursige at training ang ibibigay namin, pero hindi nila maia-apply dahil weak ang internet connection, it will not improve at all. Hindi kakayanin ng mga guru lamang, kinakailangan namin ang tulong po ninyo. Aside from that, without proper equipment, how can we deliver these things? Therefore, my dear colleagues, thank you for joining us and saying these things out. It really matters. Now, let's proceed. I'll be sharing my screen with you, indicating the parameters para maintindihan natin paano tayo makakapag-deliver ng quality instruction if in case these scenarios are already settled. Naayos na ang internet, nagkaroon kayo ng equipment, at continuous ang improvement o ang capacity building. So, look at this one. I'll be showing a picture or an image na kung saan lagi nating nakikita o na-associate sa atin. Ang mga learners natin ay nanonood because we have synchronous teaching. But I'm sure it happened to you nang habang kayo ay nagtuturo, para kang nag-buffer. At ang dami na nga nagawang mga memes o video about online synchronous teaching. And I myself, isa po ako sa tumawa talaga. Noong una naiinis ako kasi parang suntok talaga, pero yun ang katotohanan, ipinapakita lamang nila ang katotohanan kung ano ang dapat gawin ng kagawaran, kung anong dapat gawin ng pamahalaan, anong dapat gawin ng mga stakeholders and partners so that our educational system will be better. And I know if ever you are here saying these things, it's also the same. Rest assured that the executives, our government officials, are working very hard for them to deliver these things to the teachers. Nakikinig din po sila. Bukas po ang kanilang mga tenga. At maraming salamat dahil nandito kayo to share it out. So, let's see what are these different concepts na makakatulong para mapaghusay natin at maging effective ang ating instruction. First, we need to have a platform. What is that platform? Is it going to be utilizing a StreamYard, using Facebook, using YouTube, etc.? Kung papaano mo ma-deliver ang iyong synchronous teaching. Without a platform, a common platform, an idea at all, lahat ng mga guro, kagaya ninyo, ay maliligaw. Kinakailangan ay hindi pa bago-bago. Kinakailangan ay iisa ang takbo. Dahil kung iisa ang ating takbo, iisa ang ating mararating at yon ay ang pagkakamit ng magandang output, magandang quality education para sa ating mga mag-aaral. So again, to have an effective delivery, we need to have a common platform. Bear in mind that. Next, ayan, I know you will agree, have a equipment. Kung wala kang laptop,
paano kung makakapag-deliver ng synchronous teaching? They might say, okay, utilize a tablet. Paano kung wala kang tablet? Then utilize a cellphone. Paano kung wala kang cellphone? Meron kang cellphone pero hindi siya smartphone. And that is my request all the time. Kinakailangan natin ay tignan ang buong perspektibo ng mga guro. Hindi lahat ay afford. May ilan-ilan na talagang wala. At sana dumating ang pagkakataon na ang pangangailangan ng isang guro ay equally distributed para sa lahat because they need it. Dahil kapag binigyan sila ng pagkakataon na equally sila ay nakatanggap lahat, I'm sure education in our country will prosper, whether it is online or face-to-face instruction. Equipment is really important. Just to give you an idea, since I came from a private institution, kapag kami po ay nagtuturo, hindi po nahihirapan ng mga teachers dahil bawat classroom ay mayroong mga computer equipment at nagagamit para makapag-present ng slide decks at inayos ang internet connectivity. I believe that DepEd is also doing that. Let's give that chance to DepEd because DepEd is doing its best. Kung hindi yan ma-provide ngayon, mai-provide din po yan. Kinakailangan lang po nating magtiwala, maghintay, at maniwala. Uulitin ko, magtiwala, maghintay, at maniwala. Bakit kinakailangan nating magtiwala? Kung umpisa pa lang ay may doubt na tayo, lalabas at lalabas sa ating mga bibig ang kung ano-anong mga bagay na pwedeng makaapekto sa pananaw at perspektibo ng ibang guro. Maganda na ang pagtitiwala ay magsimula sa ating mga sarili. Kapag ginawa natin to, then magpo-proceed tayo sa next level. Magagawa ang programa kung tayo ay magtutulungan. It's just that having a faith with each one. Naniniwala kami na ang guro ay lalong huhusay at sa pamamagitan nito, magagawa natin ito ng sama-sama at sa pamamagitan ng equipment na ito, maidi-deliver natin yung tinatawag natin na integration ng ICT sa ating pagtuturo. It's really hard if we don't have that equipment. Marami akong nababasa, Sir Mark, nasa island school kami, wala po kaming equipment. Nakakadurog po ng puso yun. Pag ako po ay nakakabasa na gano'n. Kaya naman, aking binabanggit dito, naririnig ninyo, to have an effective online synchronous class, equipment is a priority. It is a must. Third, you need to have your house rules. Hindi yung magko-conduct ka ng online session or online synchronous teaching tapos nagsabi ka lang ng good morning, I'm your online teacher or I'm your online advisor. It's not that good. Remember that you need to put a direction, just like in face-to-face instruction. In face-to-face instruction, di ba, meron pa tayong facial expression, may body language, but this one, we need to take note that we are just one click away. Kapag ayaw kang pakinggan ng estudyante mo, isang pindot ka lang ng letter X. Kaya kinakailangan natin na ayusin natin ang ating pamantayan. Meron tayong house rules na sinusunod. And I believe with our school heads watching, you can talk with your colleagues, with your co-teachers, ano ba ang proper house rule na pwede natin gamitin. And as the head of the Educational Technology Unit, I will be posting a generic house rule in terms of sharing an instructional information, conducting asynchronous teaching para magkaroon po kayo ng backbone o magkaroon po kayo ng idea. Again, house rule is important. Next, you need to have a teaching assistant. Tutor, napa-tutor mark ako, naituloy ako ngayon. When we talk about teaching assistant, it's not a co-teacher. It's actually your learner who will act as an assistant whom you think that is responsible enough. Parang kagaya sa loob ng classroom. Meron tayong class officers, meron tayong president, meron tayong vice president, and we could also maximize that in terms of our online synchronous class. Having a teaching assistant could help us in terms of monitoring, in terms of asking for a report or feedback because these learners are friends with their colleagues. Kumbaga, sila yung malalapit talaga at sila yung pwedeng makasama at makatulong natin. For example, when I became the head of the when I became the educational technology coordinator of LaSalle Green Hills before, and we have several programs for the learners, especially on how we are going to maximize the use of the device, I make sure to collaborate with my former pupils. Sorry, learners na sila or students kasi nasa high school na sila noon. So, pumupunta sila sa office that time at sinasabi, Sir Mark, you know, we discovered these things. You can utilize this app and help the other learners. We need to bear in mind that knowledge is not only applicable to certain groups. Kapag may na-discover na useful material, useful technology, let's empower each one by sharing it. Dahil hindi yan sa unahan kung sino ang unang nakadiscover. Ang tanong dyan ay unahan kung papaano mo mas na-inspire ang mas marami pang guro. Because when we talk about these things now, hindi yan para maging makasarili. It's really for sharing. So, take note of it. Next consideration would be the utilization of your audio-visual materials. Ang hirap magturo ng online synchronous teaching nang wala kang bala. At ano tong balang ito? Yun yung mga audio-visual materials na pwedeng makasupport sa iyong instruction. But this is always my suggestion. Avoid having a film viewing. Kasi pag mag-film viewing ka ng iyong online synchronous class, dapat ginawa mo na lang yan ng asynchronous. So, paano i-utilize si audio-visual materials? It's an eliciting activity. For example, you have certain tools like quizzes, like Kahoot, that you could have an immediate feedback. Yan po ang ibig kong sabihin doon. Because of these tools, you can embed certain activities such as attaching an image and attaching a video. Later on, I'll be showcasing or sharing a lot of these tools that you could consider. Next, having a learning management system is a must. The DepEd currently has the learning management system, the regional learning management system. To maximize its use, soon we'll be having several sessions regarding it. But again, it's voluntary. It's about your free time. It's not compulsory. But our target here is that if we would like to maximize our skills in online instruction, in synchronous instruction, we need to have our baseline platform and our online tool, the learning management system. Importante po iyan. And lastly, you need to learn how to do the feedbacking. Kapag hindi po tayo nakikinig sa ating mga learners, hindi tayo humihingi ng kanilang suggestion, hindi mapaghuhusay ang ating online instruction. Natanong nyo ba sila kung nahihirapan ba sila sa online learning? Tandaan po natin na kapag tayo ay nagde-deliver nito, we need to give ample time for them to reflect also. Because it's really hard to have an online synchronous session for our learners if one feels that they are isolated. At alam kong alam niyo yun. May mga batang pakiramdam nila, hindi para sa kanila yun dahil wala silang equipment, wala silang pang-load, uunahin pa ba nila yung internet kaysa sa pagkain nila? There are a lot of things that need to be considered. That's why your voice matters here. With my questions later on, kung meron kayo naiisip na konsepto o innovation, yan po ay makakarating sa ating mga officials. So, having all of these things being said as the important component to deliver an online synchronous session, let's have another activity. We will be having an engagement again with Mentimeter. So I want you to answer these concepts. Ipa-flash po yan ng ating webinar director kung saan kinakailangan ninyong sagutin ito. Maging honest ha, i-type ninyo yung sagot ninyo. What limits your potential as a teacher in conducting online synchronous teaching? O binigay ko na example, lack of device. Di ba ipiniliwanag ko, ito yung importanteng components ng online synchronous teaching para maging effective ka. Ngayon, binaliktad ko ang tanong. May potential ka, pero ano ang nagpapahinto sa potential mo? Dahil wala ka nito. Kaya hindi ka makapag-conduct ng maayos na online synchronous activity. Let me repeat that question. What limits your potential as a teacher in conducting online synchronous teaching? Remember our code, it's 74611495. We are listening. My dear colleagues, type down your responses and let us see. Okay, thank you to our webinar director for flashing it down. Please take note, my dear colleagues. Kahit na kumpleto at alam natin ang mga effective components ng online synchronous teaching, kulang ang isa dito. Hindi ba't nakakatakot magturo? Lakas loob natin gagawin? Kaya, ang tanong ko dyan ay, ano ang naglilimit sa inyong potensyal para makapag-conduct ng online synchronous teaching? Okay? Let's see your answers. Can we flash it onto our screen? Tignan nga natin. Ano ang boses ng sangkaguruan? Ayan, o di ba? At ang pinakamalaki na nag-highlight talaga na nagpa-flash na mabilis kong nabasa ay poor internet connection. Kapag ganun talaga, agree po ako doon. Napansin po ninyo, lahat tayo ay may problemang kinahaharap. Pero lahat, mula Luzon hanggang Mindanao, poor internet connection ang kanilang sinasabi. To our government officials, this is the voice of the teachers. Yung bilang po namin ngayon ay hindi pa naman po kami umabot ng 900,000. Pero po, currently online, we have 118,270 participants. That voice matters. Having a poor internet connection in our country limits the potential of our teachers. If you want them to prosper and deliver quality instruction, please hear them out. Maraming salamat sa mga nagpo-provide ng internet load sa ating mga kaguruan. Maraming salamat dahil nakakatulong po yun talaga. Sa mga hindi pa po ginagawa, yung baka gusto nyo pong tulungan sila, ayan, magandang pong proyekto yun. Sapagkat ang mga guro ay handang gawin ng lahat, handang subukan ng lahat. At nakakalungkot isipin, yung mismong gagamitin nila para sa kanilang online synchronous session ay galing pa mismo sa kanilang sariling bulsa na pwede naman nilang gamitin para sa kanilang medicine, panggastos sa kanilang pagkain, pambayad sa bahay, sa kuryente, sa tubig, at iba pa. Why do I need to tell that? Sabi ko nga, nanggaling ako sa private practice. When I work in LaSalle Green Hills, hindi namin pinoproblema ang internet because the internet connection was provided by the school. Therefore, all classrooms are Wi-Fi enabled. So when we deliver our instruction, it's very easy. Yun nga lang, hindi ako nataon na nandun pa ako nung nagkaroon ng pandemic, kaya hindi ko alam kung anong concept ang kanilang dinideliver. But I know that the brothers are very supportive with the teachers. They have that compassion. And I hope that compassion will also be the same with our government officials who are currently listening and watching. Teachers are helpful, but in order for us to help them, let's also give them proper materials, these connections, this connectivity, so that it will not limit their potential. Sa mga school heads po, sa mga administrators na nanonood, wag po natin gamitin na rason ang internet connection para magkaroon ng mababang rating ang isang guro. Hindi po nila kasalanan yun. Hanggat meron tayong unequal opportunity with access to technology, teachers will be having difficult time. Marami ang masistress. Marami talagang iinit ang ulo at sasabihin lagi ang puro sang damakmak na reklamo. It's a collaborative effort. We need compassion. And when we talk about compassion, it's understanding. And if we understand our teachers, then we have respect with one another. So again, thank you for that. At yung ibang mga sagot po ninyo, yan po ay amin hindi ipaparating. Pero ang naka-highlight talaga na talagang napakalaki ay yung poor internet connection. Kaya sa ating mga kaibigan, sa telecommunications, please help us to other government agencies na ang task nila ay para palakasin ang internet connection sa DICT. Please, the teachers needs your help. Hindi lamang po yung public school. All teachers needs your help. At sana po, hindi na tayo bibilang ng 5 taon mula ngayon na magkaroon tayo ng quality access to internet dahil mapaghuhulihan tayo ng panahon. Kayang-kaya natin yan. Let's just have that political will that we can do it. And as teachers, let's not stop in improving ourselves while we wait for that time to happen. And when that time comes, we are ready to deliver a world-class instruction. So I hope everything is clear with that. So let me go back again to my presentation. With all of this being said, please take note about these key terminologies or keywords. Tingnan ito ng maigi ha. First is the guidance. When we talk about guidance, kinakailangan natin ang isang guro, ang isang leader na marunong gumabay at marunong umintindi. Dahil ang hirap po ng synchronous teaching. Ang hirap pong mag-deliver nito kung ang guro ay paputol-putol ang internet connection, pupugak-pugak ang kanyang device, at lalong-lalo na kung kulang ang available instructional materials which is given supposedly by the central office, the regional office, or the division office. I know all teachers will totally agree on me. They need guidance. Without that guidance, ano ang mangyayari? Kanya-kanyang langoy. At yun ang nangyayari dahil hindi nagiging centralized. And we know that there will come a time that it will happen. Teachers, lagi kong ang binabanggit, tayo ang pag-asa. Maniwala tayo na mangyayari iyon. And with our baby steps, with our small steps, we can do great things. But again, we need good guidance. I hope our leaders who are currently watching will guide our teachers in this process. Meron tayong PPST, pero wala sa PPST ang educational technology. Napansin po ninyo yun? There is no educational technology at all. ICT, when we talk about it, there are 2 strands in terms of administrative work and about educational technology. Pero sa ating PPST, wala pong nakalagay na educational technology. Kaya isa rin po yun sa aking suggestion, proper guidance. And once we have that, then we will be good onto it. Second keyword, increase the dialogue and interactions. Maraming salamat sa mga grupo ng mga concerned teachers sapagkat kayo ang nagiging boses ng sangkaguruan. Pero alalahanin po natin na ang pagkakaroon ng tamang dialogo at interaction para ipakita ang ating malasakit sa sangkaguruan ay sama-sama dapat nating gagawin. Hindi hiwa-hiwalay na inisyatibo because we are all teachers. There's no separation between a public school teacher, a private school teacher because all of us are teachers. Whether you are licensed or wala ka pang lisensya, iisa lang ang ating hangarin, ang mapaghusay ang ating pagtuturo para sa ating mga mag-aaral. And with this online teaching, if we don't have this dialogue and interaction, paano na ang ating pagtuturo? Magkakaroon lagi ng problema. Next, ito ang gusto nyo talagang marinig. Gusto namin ng pahinga, of course. When we talk about online synchronous teaching, stressful yan kasi kinakailangan mong i-consider lagi ang time. But having that, a proper planning, we could always devise something that will help everybody. Kung kinakailangan na may expert na mag-deliver ng isang session by having a collab with another group, it is necessary. Kaysa magkaroon tayo ng hiwa-hiwalay na inisyatibo. Time is important because Kapag hindi natin yan nagamit ng mabuti, isa lang ang mangyayari. Stress ang bata, stress si teacher, stress ang school head. Kaya dapat maayos ang proseso. Next, set a direction. Our leaders need to provide a direction. Hindi yung kanya-kanyang langoy. Oops, bato-bato sa langit, ang tamaan, wag magalit. Tao lang po ako nagsasabi at ito ay aking opinion. Our teachers need the captain of the ship. At sa pagtitimon na ito, importante na ang mga sumusunod ay sumunod. Maaaring ang iba ay may iba ang direksyon, pero dapat ating silang akayin. Why is it so? For example, the EdTech unit would like our teachers to be empowered in utilizing technology. Thank you for those who believe in this project. And if there are some group of people or teachers who somehow question regarding the sincerity, the honesty of the group, then that be it. Ang akin po ay importanteng alam natin ang ating aim at direksyon at isang ating gusto, mahusay na guro. At kapag nangyari yon, mangyayari ang lahat dahil sa sama-sama nating pagtutulungan. Again, synchronous teaching, why there's need to be a direction? Kasi po iba-iba ang proseso o patakaran. Dapat iisa lang. Hindi yung sa ganitong area ay ganito ang kanilang konsepto, sa kabila ay ganito. Dahil iba-iba ang perspektibo. Dapat ay iisa ang direksyon. So, I request our school heads that if ever after this session, you can talk to your colleagues, to your teachers, ano ba ang direksyon ang gusto natin kapag nagturo tayo? Ilang beses ba natin siyang dapat gawin kapag nag-synchronous teaching? Araw-araw ba? Oras-oras ba? And please take note of it. We need to consider the word pahinga. Importante ang pahinga para sa mga guro. It's healthy for us to have 8 hours of sleep. Alam po ninyo yun. So, other than that, we need to have a well-structured courses. Sir Mark, paano mangyayari yung well-structured courses? Di ba nasa curricular side siya? Yes, it's a partnership. At importante na ang mga materials like these modules or the alternative delivery methodologies na ginagamit po natin, importanteng yan ay handa na quality assure para at the end of the day, hindi babalik sa mga guru natin na, oh, ikaw nagkamali kasi ikaw nagsulat nito. Tapusin natin ang turuan. Ang importante ngayon ay kumilos tayo para magawa natin ang tama ang pag-deliver ng quality instructional materials para sa mga mag-aaral. Dahil at the end of the day, sino ang talo dito? Ang talo ay ang mga mag-aaral. Ang talo ay ang mga guro. Ang talo rito ay ang buong kagawaran. Kung nais natin na magkaroon ng maayos na direction ang pag-deliver natin ng online synchronous teaching, a well-structured course is one of the backbone. Next, let us improve our learning outcomes. Ano yung ibig kong sabihin doon? The assessment. We need to consider how to give assessment. Napakahirap po na magbigay ng assessment kapag online synchronous teaching. Paano kung may absent? Paano kung wala yung isang bata? That's why I always recommend to have a portfolio base aside from the traditional way of gauging our learners. Alisin natin yung traditional concept na pag-grade kapag online synchronous teaching. Kasi ang importante dito ay, ano ba ang lalim ng kanilang natutunan? Paano ba nila na-apply sa kanilang buhay ang kanilang mga natutunan? Dahil yun naman ang importanteng bahagi ng kanilang pagkatuto. Not the traditional way of gauging ourselves na very shallow, like you are asking the identification, nagtatanong ka multiple choice. That's actually, masasabi ko na, pwede ba nating i-adjust? Magagawa naman natin yun eh. So, the manner of having our manner of asking questions is really important. Kasi doon natin na ipapakita kung gaano talaga kahusay ang isang guro sa paraan ng kanyang pagtatanong. Sabi nga, di ba, sa pagtuturo, importanteng makatanggap tayo ng pagtatanong sa ating mga mag-aaral. At the same time, teachers also should elicit questions. high order thinking skills questions para sa ating mga mag-aaral. Not simply the shallow, pero hindi ko sinasabi na hindi tayo magtatanong ng lots. Importante din yun. Ang ibig kong sabihin dito ay, kung gusto nating mag-improve na talagang nagsisynthesize ang mga mag-aaral natin, let's give a portfolio-based assessment. Hindi yung traditional assessment natin kung paano ine-evaluate ang isang bata kapag face-to-face instruction. That's totally different if we talk about online synchronous classes. So please consider that. And lastly, ang pinakamalaki sa lahat, why don't we have an instructional strategy, a centralized instructional strategy that will help and capacitate our teachers how to deliver it effectively, to capacitate our school heads and administrators, our principals, so that they could assess the teachers properly at walang samaan ng loob na mangyayari. Sa pamamagitan nito, everybody happy. So, with that, I have another question which is very important. So, please participate. So, eto naman, kagaya ng ginawa natin kanina, I'll ask again several questions and please take note on it. Okay? Give 3 educational technology application or software that you use comfortably in your online synchronous class. O eto ha, na iba naman ang tanong ko. Kung kanina, puro problema. Ngayon naman, dahil tayo ay nagkaroon ng pandemic situation, yung ilan sa atin ay nagko-conduct ng online synchronous classes, ano kaya yung common na technology na inyong ginagamit? Can you please provide me 3 examples? So, type it, and then after that, we will flash that one into our screen. So, please participate para alam namin, may idea kami saan comfortable yung teacher at syempre hahanapin namin yung mga maliliit, yung patsi-patsi. Why is it important? So that we know that there are some teachers who need assistance also to know those tools para lahat ay equally at par when we talk about educational technology. Sabi nyo nga kanina, majority is at the beginner stage. Now, if we are at the beginner stage, ano yung common tools na ating ginagamit? And it will be very helpful for us so that in our future endeavors, in our future training, ma-include po namin yon dahil gusto namin kayong magkaroon ng international certification. Sabi nga kanina, one of the project is to provide a certification program for our teachers, not a local certification, but an international certification. How can we do that? If we do master training, if we do empowerment program, either face-to-face or online. So, can we show now the answers? Let's see. Kung ano ba ang tools na lagi nilang ginagamit. Ayan. Ay, napakaraming mga teachers ang gumagamit ng Google Meet. Ayan, Google Forms, Google Classroom. Nakakakita rin ako ng Facebook. Okay. We have Kahoot. So, napakarami now. With all of these things na sinabi ko, may napansin ba kayo? May lumabas na isang social media material. Facebook. Ako po, aminado ako sa sarili ko that there are times that I question Facebook. Sabi ko, ang Facebook ay social media. Nakakagulo yan sa pag-aaral ng mga learners kasi they can immediately click something at wala na sila dun sa ating tool. And I know, ganun din po kayong lahat. But there are some countries which utilize this tool effectively. So, how are we going to position ourselves? Remember, ang importante lagi kapag ginawa natin ang online synchronous teaching, ano ang accessible sa bata? Tapos ang usapan, ano ang accessible sa bata? Kung gusto natin silang maabot, gagawa tayo ng paraan. Therefore, our officials should also reflect regarding the set of parameters which was conveyed. Yung mga nailagay na sa DepEd order, nalagay na ng memo. Bakit po? Dahil ang konsepto dapat natin ay forward-looking. Tinitignan natin ang future. We are not living in the past. if our materials or if our guidelines or parameters are way back kopong-kopong, then we are left behind by the world. Agree ba kayo mga kaguro? Hit like and heart. Ibig sabihin nun, kahit na tayo mga guro ay pwede natin gawin yung initiative na yun, but we are limited by these rules. So how can we prosper? Di ba ipit na ipit nga? Kaya babalik at babalik ako dun sa word ko kanina na instructional strategy. It's very important for us to have that. Dahil kapag alam natin kung ano ang ating strategiya, alam natin kung paano tayo mapaghuhusay sa ganitong larangan. So thank you for sharing that. Now, going back again to my presentation, I'll be sharing to you, this is very quick, a rundown of the effective strategies in conducting an online synchronous session. Everything is self-explanatory. Makinig lang po ng mabuti. So, look at this one. These are the effective strategies. Number 1 is to provide learners with an agenda attached in the modules. Di ba nagdi-distribute ng module? Ilagay nyo na yung agenda ninyo. Ano yung agenda ito? Like, ano ba ang gagawin ng week 1? Ano ba ang gagawin ng week 2, week 3, week 4? Alam kong matrabaho, pero forward-looking tayo. Bakit importante yun? Paano kung na-disconnect yung bata? Paano kung wala pa silang internet connection? Hindi ba makakasabay pa rin sila because you have an agenda? Inilagay mo kung ano ang kinakailangan nilang gawin. And we have a lot of provided tools maliban po sa paggamit ng technology na online. Nandyan ang DepEd TV, nandyan ang radio-based instruction, marami pong modalities. But however, kahit na marami po yan, kapag hindi capacitated ang isang guro kung paano i-maximize ito, talagang magkakaroon ng problem. Number 2, set your expectations and communicate it with learners. Sabihin niyo kung ano ba yung inyong objective. Kagaya ng ginawa natin kanina, bago ako nag-proceed sa aking pagtalakay ng ating session, nagbigay ako ng objective kung ano ba ang gusto kong ma-target ninyo. And I hope we are hitting that. That is the same also when we talk about our learners. Number 3, try to invite your learners to generate their own discussion points. Nakita niyo yung ginagawa ko kanina? Ako ay nagtatanong ng isang open-ended na question na kung saan pwede kayong magbahagi sa akin at pinoproseso ko. That is an effective way. Pwede nyo pong subukan yon kapag kayo ay nagkaroon ng online synchronous teaching. You need to have that capability to tweak it. Ang terminology ko nga doon, witty-witty. Talagang dapat witty ang guro kung paano niyang huhugutin yung mga important keywords para ma-blend niya yung concept ng mga bata. And that is the same concept with what we are doing right now. 4, have an icebreaker or activity at the start of the session. Hindi ibig sabihin nito yung magkakaroon ka ng palaro. Ibig sabihin nito, try to break a leg. Parang gawin talagang parang, di ba yung term na break a leg, talagang performance level? Performance level talaga ang teacher kapag nag-online synchronous teaching. Kung kinakailangan niyang mag-costume para ma-relate na ngayon sa kanyang lesson, pwede pong gawin yon. Pero syempre, hindi na natin mapupush lahat ng mga teachers, especially kung nasa high school na pag-costumin mo, di ba? Baka mamaya, hindi na siya galangin ng kanyang mga estudyante. So, if we try to look at it, ibabagi po natin sa age bracket ng ating mga learners. I think it's self-explanatory, and when we talk about an icebreaker activity, alam po ninyo na ginagawa niya sa face-to-face, pwede nyo i-tweak yan sa pamamagitan ng online instruction. Next, number 5, importante ito. Have a shorter session but recorded. Ulitin ko. Have a shorter session but it is recorded. Why it is necessary to be recorded? Kasi po, kapag hindi yun naka-record, kawawa yung mga batang maiiwan, yung mga hindi naka-connect. So, for example, ito tip ko ha, pwede nyong i-venture out ang paggawa ng StreamYard account ninyo. Tapos nun, sa StreamYard ay pwede kayong mag-record ng session. Pagka-record nyo ng session, gawin nyo siyang live. Kung meron kayong YouTube channel, post nyo sa YouTube channel nyo. Pwede rin i-post sa inyong FB page or FB group ng inyong klase. And after that, learners will just simply share it out. Yon ang makabagong paraan ng online synchronous teaching. Hindi lang tayo bounded doon sa isang instructional tool. We could always have those things. Next, number 6, utilize the chat tool strategically. Dapat matuto tayong magtanong, hindi yung impormasyon galing lang sa'yo nang galing sa'yo. Ano yun? Para ka lang parot na salita ng salita, tapos sila nakikinig lang sila. Eh paano kung hindi na pala sila yung nakikita nyo? What do I mean by that? Alam nyo ba na kapag sila ay gumawa ng kanilang picture, tapos idinikit malapit doon sa camera, akala mo nakikinig sila sa'yo, yung pala picture na lang yon. So dapat tayo, gumawa ng paraan na magkaroon ng engagement by asking them. Just like what I'm doing earlier. To know and to determine your ideas and your concept, I ask questions. So that is the same concept also. And lastly, number 7, at the end of the week, ask students to assess their participation. Importanteng meron kang gagawin na rubric, tanungin sila, natuwa ka ba sa session? Nalungkot ka ba? Na-stress out ka ba? Dahil sa pamamagitan nito, napapakita natin yung ating concern sa ating mga learners. But again, I cannot generalize it all because mayroon at mayroong bata na talaga madi-disconnect. At kapag na-disconnect at hindi natin talaga sama, tayo ay gagawa ng paraan by contacting the parent, by contacting the learner. And I'm sure our teachers knows about it at alam nila kung paano yung gawin. But again, these are the effective strategies that we can do. So, having said that, tayo ay magkakaroon ng question and answer again at napakaganda nitong tanong ko na ito and I'm sure marami ang sasagot. So, sa ating webinar director, if flash po niya yan, my question is somehow very personal. What program can you suggest to DepEd to promote and enhance teachers' capacity to deliver quality instruction using ICT? Your answers, I'll toss it to Director Abram Y.C. Abanil kasi po siya ang ICTS Director at ipapaliwanag, i-explain ko sa kanya ang inyong mga sinuggest na programa. And with that, we will look onto the considerable. Pag sinabi kong considerable, yung talagang, ay, pwedeng-pwede itong mangyari. At yun ay ating gagawin. So again, we are listening, we are hearing out. If you have something to suggest to DepEd to enhance the program for teachers in delivering quality instruction using ICT, ano kaya ang programang ito? Could you please share it with us? So I'll give you enough time to think about it and type your answers, pwedeng in phrase or pwedeng in sentence format. Pwede rin naman kung gusto niyo paragraph, kung masipag po kayong mag-type. So I hope you are enjoying our session. Take note, this session matters because it's not just simply stating about the effectiveness of synchronous teaching. Dahil ating inalain kung paano nyo kinoconduct ang school-based instruction. Doon meron kayong kwentuhan, may chikahan kayo, ini-air out ninyo ang inyong mga problema, ang inyong mga suggestion, and that's what we are doing right now. We are not taking it technically, having all for ICT. We are hearing your needs as teachers for us to determine ano ba talaga ang kailangan ninyo para sa ICT. Okay, can we show it? Flash lang tayo ng samples. Let's see. Tingnan nga natin kung ano ang winika o sinabi ng ating mga participants. Okay, medyo madami-dami yata ito. Ayan. We can flash one answer or one suggestion. Para ma-flash po, ayan. Hintayin po natin, naglo-load ang system. So for us to have these things, gaya ng aking nabanggit, habang hinihintay po natin na ma-flash po ng ating partner, kung ano po ang naging sagot ng ating teachers. So, ang importante na konsepto dito ay, ano ba ang kailangan ninyo? Hindi po kami bulag at hindi po kami nagbibingi-bingihan sa inyong pangangailangan. At sabi nga dito, make a technology-based plan for learning and teaching. Thank you. Sabi dito, free vouchers. Okay? Thank you for that. Free vouchers for teachers. We are working on it. Ayan. Hello, Google, if you are listening right now. The Filipino teachers in the... ulitin ko. The Filipino teachers are requesting if you could provide us vouchers because they really like to have the certification program. Rest assured that they will utilize it. Ayan nagsabi na ako. Next, provide strong internet connection. Hello, DICT, could you please provide us a strong internet connection para po to sa mga kaguruan? Ayan, thank you. Sabi po dito, teacher's kit. Anong teacher's kit? Natulala ako, teacher's kit. Ano to? Siguro, sa naglagay po ng teacher's kit, let's elaborate it kasi baka mamaya first aid kit o hindi natin alam di ba? Elaborate. So kung meron kayong mga suggestion, elaborate that kasi specific kasi hindi natin alam kung anong kit yun. Baka mamaya pang-wash pala yun ang binigay na kit namin. Yung magkakaintindi ay sabon at saka tuwalya, di ba? So please take note of it na elaborate po natin ha. Ayan. Sabi dito, more ICT and educational technology trainings. Thank you for it. Ayan, more seminars and trainings. Thank you for that. Sabi dito, ano ba to? Ayan, more hands-on tools, cut down paperworks. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Cut down paperworks. Ako po ay naniniwala na dapat mahalin natin ang kalikasan dahil sa sobrang dami ng papel, maraming puno ang napuputol. Technology which is already available, let's maximize the use of it. Kaya po, samahan po ninyo akong ipaglaban ang paggamit ng teknolohiya sapagkat makakatulong ito sa ating environment. Less paper, less putol of puno. Talaga, sorry sa terminology ko. Bakit po ganon? Kasi po, ang mga guro po natin ay lunod na lunod po sa paperworks. So, sana po, i-consider natin na walang duplicity. Kung kaya siyang gawa ng paraan to have it in a technical aspect, to have it be encoded, then let be it. Kasi po, ang technology ay ginagamit para mapagaan ang trabaho ng isang tao. So to our partners, stakeholders who are currently watching, if you think of an activity or support to DepEd, one way of it is to look for its program, like its paperworks, baka pwede po kayong makapag-support para po maging paperless ang mga paggamit sa mga materials na ito para po sa kapakanan, well-being, at health na rin po ng ating kaguruan. So maraming salamat sa inyong mga suggestions at dahil dyan, ipaparating ko po yan kay Director Abram Abanil. Maraming salamat po. So we will consider all of these things together. So going back now to my presentation, sorry for being candid, ganun lang po ako para hindi po tayo antokin kasi po dead time na. So, having all of these things, ang dami pa talaga nating challenges at ito ang kinakailangan nating ma-address. Sinabi niyo na kanina, one, conduct of assessment. Dapat alam natin, dapat ba nating bigyan ng grade na numerical o dapat ba ay letter grade na muna? Kasi po, hanggat hindi maayos ang assessment para sa mga learners na nasa online teaching, ang mga teacher po ay litong-lito rin. Hindi po yan pwedeng tumingila sa langit at manghuna ng grades. Dahil masakit yun para sa isang guro. Alam ko, being a teacher, we are considerate, but we consider grades of our learners if we see the performance, if they really put an effort onto it. At ayaw natin bandang huli na ang mga mag-aaral natin ay sabihin na ang daya-daya naman, paborito siguro yan ni ma'am, ni sir, kaya ganyan ang grade kahit hindi nagpapasa. We need to consider a good conduct of assessment, and it's really a challenge for online synchronous teaching. Number two, to have a learner's attendance and social needs. Hirap po talaga niyan. Kasi po, hindi mo yan makuha 100% kahit nasa private school. Hindi mo yan mapapa 100%. Bakit? Meron at merong bata na hindi makaka-attend dahil pwedeng anong nangyayari ay weak ang kanyang signal during that time. Hindi natin may aalis yun. At ang social needs nila, kasi Pag face-to-face instruction, meron niyang kausap. Ito, sa screen ka lang niya nakikita. Kinakailangan maipakita mo ang iyong sinseridad when you deliver this instruction. Number 3, the technology itself, our hardware and software. 4, the stability of the internet connection. 5, your special concerns regarding the different types of learners. Siyempre, meron tayong SPED, meron tayong iPad, di ba? Kailangan natin sila i-consider regarding these things kasi ang kanilang kahandaan ay importante. At alam ko, trabaho po ito ng EdTech unit kung paano po ito i-deliver. But again, I am mentioning this because nakikita ko po na ito ay talagang challenge. 6, I know you will agree, plagiarism. Nauuso ang pandaraya talaga sa online teaching. Ang daling mag-copy-paste. Kaya masakit man sa nasabihin, parang ang nangyayari po ay yung mga magulang sumasagot ng mga activities ng mga bata na hindi naman po dapat. Hindi ko sinasabing nadadaya yun, ha? Pero nauuso at natuturuan ng hindi maganda kung hindi natin sila sa tamang perspektibo o etiquette. Okay?
While waiting for Sir Marcy to be reconnected with his connection, let us first recap the important points said in his presentation. So these are the important points that we got from his presentation. First, we have to consider time. Improvement needs time and it cannot be done so easily. Second, guidance. Teachers need to be guided. And where should this guidance come from? The guidance should be coming from our officials. How about the other, Sir Jeff?
Yes, for the dialogue and interaction, our voices are important to better or to make our system better. Now, for the rest, of course, we all know that everybody wants to rest.
Yes.
Everybody wants to rest, but it is in thinking to be efficient that we can champion the management of our work. How about for the direction?
Direction is really important because our leaders need a direction, and this direction should be collaboratively be determined by the administrators and by the teachers. Dapat daw po, sabi ni Sir Mark, as he stressed po, yung direction ay hindi lamang dapat po nang gagaling sa mga higher ups natin, kundi pinag-uusapan po between the higher ups at yung mga teachers natin. Sapagkat teachers naman po talaga nakakaalam kung ano ang pangangailangan ng field. Okay? Kailangan din daw po ng well-structured courses, and when we mean well-structured courses, this is strategic learning, important and meaningful learning. Hindi po nagiging maganda ang pagkatuto kung yung mismong pinag-aaralan mo walang sistema. And last, sir?
Yes, of course, for our last point for today is the instructional strategy. It is a centralized instructional plan that would benefit all, most especially our learners.
Yes.
And I'm sure that our teachers are now ready to listen to our Sir Mark. So we'll have Sir Mark with you again. Sir Mark?
Yes, thank you. Ayan. O, di ba? Sabi ko nga, di ba? Challenge talaga ang internet. So, just like what we have, I am disconnected. So, it's a reality, di ba? So, if ever, kunyari, ako ay nagde-deliver ng online synchronous teaching, tapos nag-observe sa akin yung principal o school head, dapat ba niya akong ibagsak? Ang sagot doon ay hindi po, dahil hindi po kasalanan ng teacher yun. So, it's normal in our country right now. That's why we ask for our government officials to help us to have a better internet connection. So sabi ko nga, accuracy, depth of understanding, and fatigue, that's natural. At talagang mapapatig ka kung lagi kang nadi-disconnect, di ba? So, gaya ng aking nabanggit, these are the challenges in online synchronous teaching. And as teachers, hindi talaga tayo magiging effective dito kung hindi natin ito mababattle out. So, ako po ay magtatanong ngayon sa inyo. This is actually my last question. Ayan, sa inyo. Ang kinakailangan nyo pong gawin ay maging honest. If you are able to talk to our superior, ano kaya yung iyong sasabihin sa kanila? So ipa-flash po yan ng ating host. At kinakailangan natin pong mag-reflect ng mabuti. Sabi ko nga, ito ang ating mga challenges kapag kinoconduct natin ang mga sessions. Now, provide an innovative solution to the department to empower and maximize the use of technology in instruction. I repeat, that will be my last question for this session. Maging honest po kayo, ano ang innovative solution na pwede natin gawin? Tandaan, importante na kapag tinukoy natin ang online synchronous session, we need to be compassionate enough. Dahil hindi pa talaga high-end ang nararanasan natin na internet connectivity sa Pilipinas. It's really a struggle. So while we wait for it, maraming salamat sa nagbigay ng mga questions at ako po ay pipili ng 5 dito mamaya at akin pong sasagutin. So again, this will be the last activity and then after that, I'll proceed with answering the sets of questions. Okay? So, ayan. Pwede na ba nating ipakita kung ano ang kanilang innovative solution na naiisip? Yan. Have a coordinator who handle ICT integration and separate the workload of ICT administrative tasks. Thank you. Thank you for that suggestion. I totally agree on that. Sabi ko nga, dalawa kasi ang strand kapag pinag-usapan natin ang ICT. Isa po na admin task at isang classroom integration or instructional integration gamit ang ICT. Okay? Provide a faster internet connection. Ako po, talagang agree po ako doon. Providing a good internet connection po talaga. At importante po na gawin po natin yon dahil makakatulong yun sa ating mga kaguruan. So, ganun po. Ayan. So, habang ipinaprocess po at nakikita po natin ang inyong mga kasagutan, sabi po dito na talagang glaring ay minimize paperworks. Yes. Ayan. At sana po dumating talaga ang panahon na ma-minimize po yun para ma-accommodate natin ang paggamit ng educational technology. So maraming salamat po sa inyong pagsagot. Now, I want to wrap it up in one simple word bago po ako mag-end. Okay? Ito po ang aking masasabi. Ang online synchronous teaching ay bahagi ng future in education. Kung tayo ay hindi magsisimula sa paggamit nito, kung tayo ay hindi susubok nito, kahit na tayo ay nakakaranas ng maraming problema, okay lang yon. Ang importante ay sinubukan natin at ginawa natin ang ating bahagi. Dahil hindi lamang kayo ang dapat na magtrabaho nito. The government, the stakeholders, the private institutions should actually need to work hard collaboratively to provide these materials to our teachers. Because at the end of the day, walang magiging pangulo kung hindi tinuruan ng isang guro. Kaya bubuksan na natin ang floor para sa katanungan ng ating mga kaguruan. So, andyan ba ang ating mga host?
Yes.
Ayan. Kinakabahan ako. Ay, hindi ko alam kasi yung mga questions eh. Ayan. So I will try my best to answer it.
And do not worry, Sir Mark, because we will be flashing and giving to you the questions as soon as possible.
Yes, so thank you, Sir Mark. That was only the half of his presentation, but we have already learned so many things about the truth and reality of education in the context and state of technology in the country. You know what, Teacher May, ako kasi, I am a TLE ICT teacher.
Yes.
And definitely, as you can see, yung mga neighboring countries natin, sobrang advanced
Yes.
ng mga students. And katulad nga ng sinabi ni Sir Mark and with other teachers kanina, one of the real problems of teachers nowadays is actually yung medyo mababa yung speed ng internet connection natin compared with the other
Yes.
countries. Kaya medyo talaga nahihirapan tayong makisabay. And the Department of Education cannot do it alone.
Yes.
Diba? So that is why we are tapping the other department to help us para ma-provide natin yung ganong kabilis na internet connection sa mga teachers natin, lalo na ngayon that we will be offering robotics, di ba?
Yes. Tama yun, Sir, that the problem of our internet connection is not only a problem that can be experienced in one agency, but it can be experienced by everyone in the country. No? Tsaka, Sir, sobrang nagulat ako yung reality na sinabi ni Sir Mark na wala pa tayong plan for educational technology. Kaya pala there are a lot of work pa to be done para dito sa ating agenda and vision na talagang palakasin yung technology sa ating country. But it is important that our unit is really doing something, sir, no, para i-advocate yung importance ng technology sa ating bansa.
Yes, actually, if we're going to take a look on the situation, syempre, parehas naman tayo naging student tayo before, di ba? I actually salute the teachers before.
Yes.
Yung mga teachers natin na gumagamit ng sandamakmak na Manila paper para lang ma-impart sa atin yung knowledge, di ba? So, kumbaga parang if they have the technology by that time, siguro they are also having the problem na na-encounter natin ngayon na medyo yung iba, they don't want to learn technology anymore because they think na they are old enough. But definitely, kaya nga meron tayong tinatawag na mga internet natives or mga technology natives, di ba? Unlike yung mga kids kasi ngayon na even mga bata pa lang, without even reading the manuals of their brand new cell phones, kaya nilang i-manipulate, di ba? So, we believe na yung mga teachers, may kanya-kanya po tayong pinagdaan ng process, na may pinagdaanan din mga problema. But, the purpose of the Educational Technology Unit is actually to guide yung mga teachers natin on how to become technologically competitive, di ba?
Tsaka sa mga professionals, mapapansin mo, yung talagang nag-a-advocate ng technology sa mga bata at para i-expose sa mga bata sa kahalagahan ng technology sa kanilang mga buhay. Teacher yan, no? At hindi lang yung science teacher. Kasi naalala ko nung elementary, pag sila yung buong technology science. Pero hindi yan, no? Halos lahat ng subject teachers, part of their teaching, kasi ako ay English teacher, no? Part of their teaching involves technology, no? Ganun kagaling. Like, kasi example for us, mga 90s kid tayo, so tayo yung mga umaandar, sir, di ba? Yun na yung mga technology in the classroom. And naiintindihan ko, sir, yung commentary mo na yung mga medyo senior and wizened teachers natin, there will be discouraged of the kind of technologies that are evolving right now. Pero the message is, huwag din tayo matakot kasi mas maraming mga batang teachers din na handang tumulong, no? Handang mag-coach at yun nga rin po yung ETU na handang umagapay at umalalay po para sa mga pangangailangan sa technology ng ating mga kaguruan.
Yes, now, these are also the effective strategies Sir Mark mentioned to deliver synchronous teaching effectively. So, number one, provide students with learning goals or agenda. Because definitely, lalo na ngayon na naging modular tayo, what the students think is just, kailangan magsagot lang sila ng module.
Yung mga Generation Z, hindi sila kikilos pag walang pag hindi mo sila binibigyan ng clear objectives in mind. So, they like to question and we have to feed their questions with the right objectives.
Yes. For number two, set clear expectation to the learners. Yes. Kasi actually, yung mga students natin ngayon, although sabihin natin na they are digitally competitive enough, kahit bata pa lang, I still believe na proper communication is still important, di ba? And for number three, make learners active by getting points from them. Of course, di ba? Kahit sino naman, kahit sino mas gusto natin na pinapakinggan tayo kaysa yung laging tayo yung nakikinig.
So, hindi lang yung pagiging student-centered sa isang virtual or face-to-face classroom. Tama ka dun, sir, na pag pinakikinggan ng estudyante, importante yun kasi hindi lahat sa bahay nila yung sense of pinakikinggan buhay sa kanila.
Yes, for number 4, ready the students through tapping their interest, di ba? Kasi alam naman natin, with this generation, ayaw nila na kino-confine natin sila sa isa lang. Kailangan hanapin natin kung saan sila magaling, ano yung interest nila. Then definitely, if you're going to tap it with them, of course, automatic, ibibigay nila yung best nila.
And this makes teaching challenging kasi kailangan feel mo yung time ng bata. No? Hindi ka pwede, alam mo lang yung panahon mo.
Yes.
Kailangan alam mo yung panahon ng mga bata sa ngayon. Kasi if you do not really have the touch on their lives or hindi mo alam kung ano yung mga uso ngayon, no,
Yes.
you will definitely and easily tune out. No, wala ka talagang ganong kakapit dun sa bata.
Yes. And dyan mapasok na number 5 natin, which is to have a shorter but recorded session. Kaya kung mapapansin ninyo, katulad ng sinabi ni Sir Mark kanina, sa social media, sobrang dami nating kalaban para makuha yung attention ng mga students natin. Kaya naman, as much as possible, kailangan shorter lang yung binibigay natin na mga recorded session. We need to direct to the point. Automatic. Kasi ang mga students naman ngayon, hindi naman ganun kahirap kausap.
Yes,
diba?
sir. Tsaka wag yung sobrang banking system of education. Let them move.
Yes.
And let them explore and let them do their own learning. And that is very important. Ang mga bata ngayon gusto gumagalaw, di ba? Halata naman sa TikTok, di ba? TikTok
Of
na
course.
TikTok.
Oh,
Okay.
pati nga tayo nadadami sa TikTok. Ayan. For number 6, use the chat effectively, di ba? So, katulad ng sinabi namin kanina, communication is actually the key in order for us to reach our students. And kasama na dyan yung pag-chat because there are some students and as well as teachers to their head teachers and principals that they cannot easily open up,
Yes.
di ba? So, kaya naman, through the use of chat, it is another means for us to share or to say something that we can be listened to.
Tsaka note ko lang, sir, no, one of the talks that will be done this week will be about chatbots. So, ayun, importante yun kasi I learned about chatbots last year and napaka-interesting na teachers marunong gumawa ng chatbots. Kasi yung chatbots, nakikita na sa mga pages,
Yes.
sa mga online accounts. Pero tayo palang teachers, we can do chatbots that can immediately respond to the concerns of our students. Okay. Tsaka ano pa, let me share to you this practice done in our school, Kaunlaran High School. Ginagamit po talaga namin yung chat in our asynchronous sessions, not just to give lessons to our learners, but to also feel for our learners. Kinukumusta namin. Like what we said, importanteng kinukumusta po ang mga bata, lalo na hindi natin sila nakikita ng personal.
Tama. And for number 7, have the students to assess themselves and their performance. As teachers, hindi tayo dapat yung nagdidikta. Diba? Kasi katulad nga ng sinabi natin kanina, we have to let them discover themselves. Kailangan natin silang i-guide on how they're going to be that person that they dream of someday.
Yes.
Diba? Hindi pwede na sasabihin natin sa kanila na hanggang dito ka lang. Because we don't know kung ano yung possible na mangyari. Who knows, diba? Katulad nga ng sabi ng mga teachers ko before, hindi mo masabi, malay mo, ikaw na yung susunod na presidente ng Pilipinas. Walang nakakaalam. But if that is their dream as teachers, yun yung trabaho natin. We have to push them to make that dream into a reality.
And naniniwala din ako, sir, no, na learning is not just attaining the objectives in the classroom, but also assessing your own performance, how you perform. No? Kasi in life naman talaga, it's not the people who would tell you kung ay magaling ka. It's up to you who would tell yourself and assess your performance in daily living. No?
Yes. And of course, at this point, we would like to thank all the teachers na nagpadala ng mga questions nila sa Google Forms natin. So, I think the questions are now ready and it will be flashed on the screen. So, with Sir Mark C, we're going to answer all those questions. Sir Mark? Can we read the questions so that Sir Mark will answer?
All right.
Ayan. Okay, so our first question. Are you ready, Sir Mark? So this is 40% of the criteria.
Yes.
Okay, so first question. Is modular as a modality for learning is really effective since most of the students are not the ones answering the activities?
Wow.
Would you like to repeat me, sir, the question?
Kaya ni Sir yan.
Yes, thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you for that wonderful question. Ayun talaga. So, if I will be asked if modular materials is actually effective, I will say that yes, if we follow certain parameters. Number one, we should not put, again ang sagot ko ay based sa aking experience as a classroom teacher. Ang aking sagot po ay based kung paano ko i-deliver ang aking pagtuturo gamit ang technology, at ang aking sagot po ay base sa aking perspektibo bilang isang manunulat ng isang textbook. Ayan, kasi textbook author po ako. Yes, the modular materials will always be very effective, provided that, number one, answer key should not be provided at the back portion of it. Bakit? Kukopyahin lang at ang mga bata, pwedeng ilagay doon ay yung term na, let the teacher decide what's the answer, yung mga gano'n. Baka may makakita ka ng gano'n, o kaya all of the above, yung mga gano'n. Hindi sila mag-iisip kasi pinrovide mo yung answer key. For me, the style of a module should be like this. It's direct and precise. Number one, put the objective. Number two, have the set of questions that will elicit the mind of learners, yung level niya from knowledge base, hanggang umakyat yan hanggang pa-evaluation or synthesis. Bakit po ganun ang kinakailangan na flow ng isang module? Kasi po, kapag nagturo tayo, iba ang face-to-face at iba ang isang modular material. So, kinakailangan talagang pag-aralan ito ng mabuti. But again, it is effective, provided that a module is well thought of, pinag-aralan ng mabuti, tinignan kung paano siya dapat i-deliver, at hindi magsa-stand alone ang module without other modalities. Bakit? Pwede bang magsalita ang module? Maituturo ba ng module na, uy, makinig ka sa akin dahil ganito ang konsepto? Masasabi ba ng module doon sa magulang na nakalimutan na ang konseptong yun, o pwedeng yung magulang ay hindi nakapag-aral o nakapagtapos? At anong sasabihin niya sa kanyang anak? Masasabi ba ng module, eto po ang dapat niyong ituro? That's why there is a collaborative effort on how a module will be effective. Take note, modules will be modules having the set of questions to guide the learners to understand the concepts. If there are some information, the information should be direct, concise, and precise, not that wordy, hindi yung parang terminolohiya ng ating dating senadora na Miriam Defensor Santiago na nakaka-nosebleed. Alam niyo ang ibig sabihin doon, mga co-teachers. Bakit po ganun ang aking binabanggit? If we wanted to help our learners, let's consider our modules. If the modules are crafted enough to suit their needs, na hindi sila makakapandaya, hindi sila mandadaya, ginagabayan sila ng kanilang mga magulang with confidence, and with the aid of other modalities, the module will be effective. But the module alone will not stand alone. I hope that's clear. The module alone cannot stand alone, because if we only have that, I'm sure yung learners natin ay hindi fully na natuto dahil hindi makakapagsalita ang mga module. Ang mga magulang mismo ang makakapagsabi sa atin kung naging epektibo ba to. Bakit? Sila yung naging kasama eh. At di ba nga, naririnig natin sa mga magulang, nagtiteacher-teacheran ako para sa anak ko. I hope that word will be eradicated. Parents should be there as our partners, as facilitators for learning. And we need to help our parents. That's why we devised something in EdTech, yung nga po yung tinatawag namin na itulay, to guide our learners to understand it, to support. Kasi po, inaalis natin yung kulong sa classroom na very standard na kung English ang subject, English talaga. Kaya nga ginawa namin siya na tutor format so that we are able to express and explain in a vernacular yung mismong concept para po maunawaan ng bata. Again, if you have something in mind to help our learners, kung paano ma-expand ang reach na ito, please do so. We are listening. So, thank you for that wonderful question.
Yes.
Lumagpas na ako sa airtime. 30 seconds yun.
question, sir, is from Ma'am Annalyn Eclevia Banda of San Jacinto National High School from Pangasinan 2. Okay. How about for our next question, Teacher
All right,
May?
sir, are you ready for your second question? For the easy round, okay? This question was from Maysel R. Silvino from A. Mabini Elementary School of Caloocan City, SDO Caloocan. And this is the question, sir. How will the department deal with those parents who are not supportive in the asynchronous learning of their children?
Thank you. DepEd should work double time. Why? If our learners doesn't have an equipment to use at home, how are they going to be effective in having an asynchronous way of teaching, asynchronous way of learning? Hindi ba ang mga magulang na walang equipment ang kanilang mga anak, kailangan bang sila ang mag-provide? Paano kung wala silang maipo-provide? That's why I keep on mentioning earlier that it's a collaborative effort. So, to the government officials who are currently watching, and those who have already supported and gave tablets or cell phones to the learners for them to be equipped with both asynchronous and asynchronous teaching and learning, maraming salamat. At sa mga magulang po na hindi pa rin po naniniwala dun sa perspektibo na asynchronous teaching, ang DepEd TV ay asynchronous. Ang modular material ay asynchronous din po. Kahit na hindi po siya pumapasok sa online, makikita po natin dito na kinakailangan ay magkaroon ng konkretong programa si DepEd para ma-empower po ang ating mga magulang. And thank you for that question. I believe that it's a collaborative effort from the central office para po matugunan ang pangangailangan na yan. Dahil hindi lamang learners at teachers ang kinakailangan nating tulungan, pati ang ating mga magulang. Kasi po sila talaga ang sumasalo ngayon ng bigat nung responsibility ng ating mga kaguro. Alam ko, malaki ang responsibilidad ng mga guro, pero aminin po natin na ang mga magulang din po ay nasa-stress out dahil hindi nila alam ang gagawin at sinasabi na lang nila sa anak nila na makinig ka na lang, paano sila makikinig kung hindi available ang mga resources. That's why it's a must that it should double time the efforts para ma-deliver po to. At maraming salamat. We will work on it and devise a plan for that. But I reassure you that DepEd is doing something regarding it. Ayan, maraming salamat.
Yes, sir. Okay, so thank you very much, Sir Mark. For our third question from Mr. Eugenio L. Molina from Mangaldan National High School, Pangasinan 2. What would you recommend as the best technology to be integrated in the new normal classroom setting?
Okay. If I will be asked, ulitin ko lang. Ayan. So if I will be asked what technology, I would say that instructional video tool will be the best technology because it is a supplement for our face-to-face instruction. There are a lot of tools available. We have our cameras with us. You could always utilize that. Again, why I said that, bakit yun po ang aking na-mention, bakit video tool? Kasi po uulitin ko, di ba pag face-to-face instruction, nakikita tayo nagsasalita. So, the best technology for me would be the instructional video. Kapag naipaliwanag po natin ng malinaw po yun, yan ay magagamit po talaga ng ating mga mag-aaral. For example, before we have conducted that session, the utilization of simple paper, a whiteboard, pen, marami pong kaparaanan kung paano tayo makakapag-deliver ng quality instruction utilizing a video. Merong pong high-end, merong low-tech, pero ang importante dito, clear ang ating boses kapag ipinapaliwanag ang concept para maintindihan ng ating mga mag-aaral. So I hope that answer suffice your question. Walang ibang tatalo sa teknolohiya ng bibig ng isang guro. Kapag magaling magsalita at magturo, that's the best technology.
Okay, thank you, Sir Mark. And now we will be going to the penultimate question. And this question was from Jessa Joy Palileo from Arsenio C. Herrera Elementary School, SDO, Manila. And this is the question, sir. What intervention can be done with the students or parents who are not cooperative in entering the synchronous classes?
Thank you. The best intervention for our learners and also for our parents, if they are not that good in attending the synchronous classes, number one, isn't it that we ask them before if they are going to have online or offline or the modular materials? But if they choose online, the online synchronous activity, then there should be an engagement with the parents, with the teacher in the school itself, that they will support that. Kasi ang hirap po na pinili nila ang online synchronous tapos hindi nila sinusuportahan. Now, what is the intervention there? Diyan po papasok yung ating mga school heads to help our teachers to communicate with the parents in assisting. Ano ba ang pangangailangan ng bata? Kung hindi kaya ang online synchronous, huwag ipilit. Maraming modalities ang pwede pa natin gawin. At sabi nga natin, ang nangyaring pandemic situation sa ating bansa ang nagbukas sa atin ng maraming opportunities to grow much better in utilizing technology. But we need to consider the capacity, the open-mindedness of our parents. It's just a matter of good communication. If we explain to them clearly our objective, our sincere objectives, ano ba ang reason behind it, I'm sure lahat ng magulang ay mauunawaan. Nasa mabuting usapan lang ito at magagawa po yun. So the best intervention is good communication. Ayan. Thank you.
Okay, so for our final question, Sir Mark, from Roy Albert C. Dacanay of A. Mabini Elementary School from SDO Caloocan. How are you going to deal with those seasoned teachers in performing the new normal setup the easier way?
Okay, thank you for that question. This is my request to the young teachers. Oh, bakit young teachers? All of us will soon be seasoned teachers. Hindi ko sinabing all, no? All of us will soon be seasoned teachers. At kapag dumating yung panahon na yon, hindi ba alam natin na we have some weak spots, we have some areas that need to be assisted. Ibinabalik ko at nag-flash forward tayo or nag-fast forward tayo dahil yon ang pangangailangan ng ating mga seasoned teachers. Since we are young, we know these technologies, let's collaborate with one another. How to do that? Engage, collaborate, and help them out. If they are conducting sessions, this is the best thing. Ginawa ko to sa Lasal Green Hills, and I'm sure if they are watching now, mapapangiti sila sa mga ginawa namin noong 2013 pa. Rule number 1, daanin sa pagkain. Bakit ko sinabi yon? Kapag pinakain natin yung ating colleague, ilibre natin, ma'am, kain po tayo. Ma'am, pwede ba kitang turuan tungkol sa paggamit ng teknolohiya or technology? Pero kung mag-alala, ang gagawin natin ay, papasok ka doon sa session, papasok din ako. Tapos ang gawin mo lang, tumingin ka lang doon sa isang spot. Tapos ituro mo sa kanya yung camera. Madali yung sumunod. Bakit? Kasi those are directions that's simple for them. Ituro mo lang yung camera. Ma'am, diyan ka lang tumingin. Tapos magturo ka lang. Ngayon, ang sinabi ko lagi, if you have the props or if you have the visual materials that you have it before, like meron kang flashcards, tingin ka lang doon at ipakita mo, nakikita mo yung sarili mo doon sa screen. And just do it. Giving them enough confidence, linking their traditional practice with the current one will help them a lot. Again, let's help them. Kinakailangan ialis natin yung konsepto na, naku, hindi na kaya yan, seasoned teacher yan. Actually, Kapag natutunan nila ang paggamit ng technology, isa yan sa pinakamagagaling. Dahil they have this experience, samahan mo pa ng unti-unting paggamit ng teknolohiya, kayang-kaya nila yan. Bakit? Natutunan nga nila gumamit ng ATM card, di ba? O di ba? Kung natutunan nila yun, matututunan din nila unti-unti yung paggamit ng webcam. So, hindi dapat natin iparamdam sa kanila na matanda na kayo. O, sorry for the word matanda na kayo, hindi nyo na kailangan yan. Kung ako, nasa age akong ganon, ito lang ang sasabihin ko. Hindi kayo magiging guro kung hindi dahil sa amin na matanda na ngayon. Kaya kayo na mga bata ngayon, gabayan nyo kami para kami ay makatulong din sa mga mag-aaral natin ngayon. Remember that we cannot be teachers if we don't have those seasoned teachers. Kaya gabayan natin sila. So, if ever you are the principal or school head, devise a plan or program to have a partnership, tandem support system with a young teacher who's confident in using technology and a seasoned teacher whom you think that they need help. So paano yung kunyari nasa loob sila ng klase sa online synchronous? Kailangan si seasoned teacher ay huwag mahihiya na nandoon naman si young teacher. At si young teacher, huwag kang magko-comment. Baka mamaya kung anong comment ang sabihin mo, huwag kang magko-comment. Hayaan mo siyang i-build ang kanyang confidence. Ang iyong task lang ay i-connect si teacher sa kanyang learner. Yun. Sa pamamagitan nun, let the seasoned teacher ask questions to you and answer them out. Kasi sa pamamagitan nun, hindi natin inaapakan ang kanilang ego, ang kanilang perception. Tandaan, we are there to help. We are not there to criticize or to critique. Okay? So, yun po ang aking suggestion.
Okay, thank you, Sir Mark, for that wonderful and grateful message. And the three big words that I got from your answer are engage, collaborate, and help out. And I would believe that Sir Mark knows this as one of the taglines of LaSalle, no? Sharing is caring. Napakahalaga na magbahagi. Lalo na sa mga wise at seasoned teachers. Dahil tama nga naman, Sir Mark, no, hindi tayo magiging guro kung hindi rin tayo naturuan ng isa ring guro.
Yes, you know what, Ma'am May, ako as one of the new teachers before sa public, what I'm thinking before, syempre nga since ICT ako, medyo aware ako sa technology. Ang lagi ko kasing iniisip sa sarili ko noon is that hindi ako mapapagod magturo sa mga seasoned teachers when it comes to technology because etong mga seasoned teachers na to, tatandaan niyo po to ha, mga bagong teachers, sila yung merong kakayahan na makapagturo sa ating mga bagong teacher how to deal with parents.
Yes.
Kasi sa sobrang haba ng panahon that they've been in this profession, naka-encounter na sila ng iba't ibang klase ng magulang na hindi natin yan actually na-encounter pa sa ngayon. Ang lagi ko kasing iniisip, yung old teachers natin doesn't mean that you're great. Mm-hmm. Diba? And new teachers doesn't mean you're the best. Yes. I always believe that we should work hand in hand together kasi lahat naman to magbe-benefit ay mga students natin. So we should not compete with the old teachers and the new teachers, whether gender-based or whatever it is. As long as ang isipin natin, magtulungan tayo para sa bata, para sa bayan, di ba? So ngayon, bibigyan namin kayo ng chance na i-message ng inyong mga seasoned teachers, pasalamatan sila,
yes,
at turuan sila ng technology. We will give you a 5-minute break para gawin niya, para makahinga, drink water. Napaka-importante niyan, stay hydrated po. Yan, di ba, Ma'am May? What else?
Okay, so move, stand up, and grab your favorite snacks and drinks, and we will be right back.
Good day, everyone. I am Sir Robbie, and together, we will learn the word of the future, robotics. Did you know that here in Educational Technology Unit, robotics is a priority to make every Filipino learners and teachers competent and meet the demands of the future global scene? Wherein teachers, students, and parents who wanted to learn robotics is just a click away for free. Robotics is an interdisciplinary field which integrates computer science and engineering. It involves design, construction, operation, and use of robots to assist human activities. Are you ready for this transformation? Soon in ICTS Educational Technology Unit. Come and join us and love the future para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Sulong edukalidad.
Magandang araw, ako po si Sir Ariel, ang ALS lover ng EdTech Unit. Narito po ako para sa isang napakagandang balita at upang magpaalala na ang kinabukasan ay mas gaganda at uunlad kung ang lahat ay patuloy na mag-aaral. Sa edukasyon sa ating bansa, tiyak na walang maiiwanan sa pag-abot ng mga pangarap. Kaya naman ang Department of Education ICTS Educational Technology Unit at Alternative Learning System Task Force ay nagtutulungan sa pagkakaroon ng ALS Tech Empowerment Program upang maihatid ang excellent quality education sa ating mga ALS learner and teachers. To easily deliver the lessons from the modules and other references, we will provide tablet PC as part of the DepEd computerization program to all ALS teachers and orientation on the use of these packages. To deepen the pedagogical use of information and communications and technology in delivering instructions, there are training workshops on the use and curation of open educational resources or OER, Google and Microsoft productivity tools, creation of video lessons using PowerPoint presentations and KineMaster, and on ebook or e-magazine development. To create an avenue for remedial lessons that is open to all learners, teachers, and parents, we will have the eTulay free online tutorial and mobile eTulay, where we will visit remote schools to feature the best practices of our ALS teachers and learners. Sa mga out-of-school youth and adult, laging tatandaan na may pag-asa upang makapagpatuloy sa pag-aaral. May ALS para sa inyo. Ang edukasyon ay para sa lahat. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, para sa guro. Sulong edukalidad.
And we are now back to continue the other half of the PM session of the first day of the virtual INSET. Sir Mark?
Thank you. So we will continue with our session. Pangalawa po to, the effective delivery of asynchronous teaching. So earlier, I have shared ano ba yung mga effective criteria, ano ba yung mga challenges. Ngayon naman, dun tayo sa other side of it, which is the asynchronous teaching. When we talk about online asynchronous teaching, hindi nito kasabay yung teacher. So I know marami na ko yung na-attenan na session dito at ang aking ibibigay ay ano ba ang kinakailangan pa natin bigyan ng tugon. So, here are our objectives, okay? So, let's focus on to these things. At the end of the session, ito ang ating target. The participants will be able to first to determine proper actions in conducting effective asynchronous activities in the teaching learning process. So, I'll be sharing to you a lot of tech tools that you could utilize so that you will be having an engagement, more efficient engagement with your learners. Yan. So, yung mga hinihintay ninyong tech tools, ipapakita ko po yun. Number 2, identify readily available resources to support the asynchronous learning session. So, we have a lot of these things. At gaya ng aking nabanggit, kinakailangan ay alam lang natin kung paano ito i-search. But of course, we need to cite the resources kung saan siya nanggaling. Next, number 3, reflect on best practices and self-assessment in the delivery of asynchronous session. Kung kanina synchronous, ngayon naman i-reflect natin. Kaya ko rin ba ang asynchronous? Mas ginagamit ko ba ang asynchronous kaysa sa synchronous? Ano ang natutunan ng mga learners ko kapag nag-conduct ako ng asynchronous classes? Next, number 4, is to propose an innovative solution to the department to provide equal access to technology in different types of learning environments. So kanina nagtanong po ako sa inyo, ngayon naman ang question ay paano kapag any types ng learning environment? Okay? Kasi iba-iba tayo ng situation, merong areas of conflict, eto halos lahat, meron tayong pandemic situation na nararanasan. Ano-ano ba itong mga innovative solutions na pwede natin ibigay? And lastly, number 5, assess the current ICT programs and initiatives of the department in providing quality education for all types of learners. Kasi napakahirap po mag-isip ng programa kung hindi natin iisipin din kung ano ba ang kailangan ng ating mga learners. So, allow me to proceed. In asynchronous teaching, we have a lot of advantages, but we also have the disadvantages. At ito po ay honest opinion ko bilang isang guro, ha? So, una, ang advantage ng asynchronous, flexible yan dahil anytime, anywhere, pwedeng gamitin ng bata. Yun nga lang, kinakailangan ay responsible siya because he holds their time. They hold their time. Hindi natin nadidiktahan unless we set the guidelines nga. Next, it's easily scalable, easily shareable. Madali siyang ipasa because it's just a link or it is a soft copy. Lastly, it's cost-effective. Kung minsan karamihan ng mga tools na ito ay may free version. At yan lang ang aking advantages. O di ba, konti? Pero marami akong disadvantages. Number 1, delayed or no feedback at all. Next, the distracting attention of other available materials in the net. No collaboration because sila lang ang nakafocus doon. It requires self-discipline. And lastly, they think that they are isolated. Maganda ang asynchronous teaching kung ito ay naplano ng gusto at ang mga activities ay may variation. Hindi nagiging epektibo ang asynchronous teaching kung ito ay basta lang i-deliver for the sake of ma-deliver ang lesson. Or para lang masabi na, ay, nag-asynchronous ako. Dapat hindi po ganon. Kapag gumawa po tayo ng any instructional tool na patungkol po sa asynchronous teaching, ito ang ating tatandaan. We are creating asynchronous teaching materials because it is about the learners and not about you. Ulitin ko about the learners and not about you. Ano yun? Ito po bato-bato sa langit, ang matamaan, huwag magagalit. Karamihan, pag tinukoy kasi ang asynchronous learning, nagsa-search ka online tapos kinaka-copy-paste mo lang. Hindi mo na nire-review kung ano ba ang content niya. At nagugulat ka na lang na, ay, ang hirap pala ng nilalaman. So, that's actually not a good practice at all. So, we need to take note that when we look for these materials and when we create, let's think about the learners. Does it fit their age? Does it fit to the requirements, like sa competencies? At kapag gumawa tayo ng materials, siguraduhin natin na pwede nilang ulit-ulitin, like a gamified material. Because of these things, malaki po ang maitutulong nun. So, sa akin pong nabanggit ngayon, mahalaga na alam natin yung mga prosesong ito para ma-deliver natin ng maayos sa ating mga mag-aaral, yung asynchronous teaching. So, let me jump on to my next slide. Gaya ng inyo nakikita, ito ang format ng asynchronous teaching. Pwede tayong gumamit ng desktop, ng laptop, pwede rin ang tablet or mobile phone, and it's more about the content and how we socialize. Because it utilizes an LMS to make it work. It's reasonably sound or good if we have an interactive ebook material. We use gamified links. We have the utilization of different curriculum web pages such as the LR portal and also the Debit Commons and other resources found online. And lastly, to have your audio and video recordings. Having all of this component, it will empower your class. in delivering asynchronous session. So with that, dahil tinanong ko ito, ibabalik ko sa inyo ang tanong. If a flash po ngayon, ang question na kinakailangan ninyong sagutin regarding asynchronous teaching. Now, I want you to estimate your use of instructional technology with students for having this type of activity. Kayo ba ay lagi niyo yung ginagamit? So you need to gauge it. So I use technology for instruction nearly every day. Araw-araw ba yung asynchronous mo? O about once a week? O once a month? O seldom or never? I want you to be honest in answering that one. Why? Because it will help us in the EdTech unit. Kasi po, kung konti ang materials, alam na natin ang mangyayari. Ibig sabihin, maliit ang chance na magkaroon ng asynchronous teaching dahil kinakailangan natin suportan ang pangangailangan ng mga guro. So, I want you to answer it honestly. The code is 746-11495 and please be honest in giving your feedback regarding this at ating titignan ang inyong kasagutan. Let's show the data. Ano ba ang pinakamarami? Gaano kaya ang porsyento na ating tinutukoy pag ang ating mga teachers ay gumagamit ba ng asynchronous teaching? Okay, let's see the results. Ayan. So, majority of our participants have mentioned that they are actually using it at least once a week. The next one, may mga gumagamit almost daily. At meron naman gumagamit ng once a month at malaki-laki din ang numbers nung hindi talaga gumagamit. So what is it shown? Ano ang ipinapakita dito? What is the indicator or indication about it? Isa lang ang sinasabi nito, our teachers would like to deliver an asynchronous teaching, but to make it effective, we need to provide them readily made available materials which is quality assured. I think you are smiling at nag-a-agree kayo sa sinasabi ko. Next, some of you might think that, I am already capable, that's why I'm delivering it several times in a week. And that's actually good then. However, we need to consider that we need to plan it out dahil hindi lang iisa ang subject ng bata, maraming subjects ang bata. Kaya wag po natin gagawin na pag nagbigay tayo ng asynchronous activity ay parang tayo lang ang kanilang subject. I-consider po natin na marami rin po silang subject teachers. So, with this information, maraming salamat sa inyong ipinrovide. At sa mga sumagot po na once a month at not at all o seldom, I think this group of teachers should be given more training, more assistance para maging confident din sila sa paggamit ng asynchronous teaching. Tandaan po natin, it's a collaborative work and I'm very happy that you are sharing this information. Itong data na ito ay makakatulong sa ICTS EdTech Unit to plan out what are the best programs to support especially those 13 and 12% located with once a month and or who have indicated once a month or no at all. Okay, so thank you for that. So going back to my presentation, here are the following EdTech tools that are actually useful. You can list it down. Actually, this is downloadable. My presentation is downloadable in the LMS, okay? In the PDLMS. Libre po ninyong mada-download. Ito ang highly useful, paano? These are the useful application tools or software that I believe it's easy for us to manipulate. Number one, AppsGazer. If you want to create applications, an Android application, this tool is meant for you. We have a lot of sessions conducted already for the transformational OER. You can watch that so that you will be aware how these tools are used. It's in the YouTube page of the EdTech Educational Technology Unit. Second is quizzes. Quizzes is an interactive quizzing material, a gamified tool wherein you can attach an image, video, your audio, everything that you have in mind, it's usable. In addition, you can search readily made quizzing materials meant for your class. However, the discretion there, you need to review the sample questions because some questions might be not applicable for your learners. Baka iba yung kanyang competency. So you need to review still those search quizzing tool, okay, or quiz materials. Next, Go Conquer. Go Conquer is an online tool. You can easily embed it. So for example, if you have a web page that you could have an injected interactive activity, use Go Conquer. Get the iframe. We will be having a session in transformative OER. Isa po ang Go Conquer sa ituturo po namin. So hindi pa po namin tapos ang session na yun. We will conduct that anytime soon. So again, if you have a web page, Go Conquer is a good option. Next is Nearpad. Nearpad is somehow an assistive tool. It's like having an interaction with your learners in real-time performance. So for example, I'm presenting now. If I switch it to my next slide, all learners who are watching your presentation will also swap to the next slide. In addition, you can ask questions interactively, like a gamified one. So pag nagtanong po tayo, makikita natin ang kanilang responses kagaya ng nakikita nyo po sa ating activity kanina. But that one is different. Hindi po yung Nearpad. Okay? So again, ang sinasabi ko po dito sa Nearpad ay you have a direct control. Aside from that, you could give a home-based activity by providing them a link or providing them the code. Next is Schoology. It is a learning management system which is for free. Next will be Wix. We have delivered this session before in creating curriculum page or curriculum website. Next will be Kotobi applications. It should be in tandem because you need first to create it in Kotobi Author before viewing it in Kotobi Reader. Next one will be Bunchy. Yan po ay isa sa talagang nakakatuwang tool dahil para kang nakakita ng Canva na pina-level up. Oh, ayan. So, nagbigay na ako ng clue. Canva na pina-level up pa na para siyang Nearpad, na para siyang quizzes, na para siyang PowerPoint. So, ganun ang kanyang combination kapag akin po talagang i-describe. So, have a venture of it. It's actually also free of use. However, may limitation siya sa free usage dahil ang kanyang gamit po ay may bayad. O, talagang diniretso ko. May bayad siya kasi hindi naman talaga siya totally free. But there is a free version that you can use. Next is Edmodo. Again, a learning management system which is a good option. Next one is Socrative. So it is a content-based web wherein you could gauge learners by having a gamified session. So halos magkakapareho ito kay Nearpad. Ang pinagkaiba lang nito ay iba ang kanyang look. O, yun ha. At hindi nyo po magagawang i-share ang presentation ninyo na nakikita rin ng sabay ng iyong learner. Kasi ang Socrative ay parang nag-flash ka, tapos nanonood sila at they can give answers and you can see the feedback. Next one will be Kahoot. I know you are familiar with it. It's a gamified material. We also have Quizlet. Kagaya rin siya ng Kahoot at ng quizzes. We have iJack, which is a tool that could utilize the augmented reality in education. Having a Frame VR, hindi ko patapos itong session na to dahil naputol ako last time sa transformational OER. Frame VR is creating a virtual reality experience wherein you put a virtual teacher and a virtual material in compact. Yun nga lang, mas nagiging effective siya kung may mobile tool ang bata. Next is Wakelet. It's a powerful tool na maganda pong i-discover ninyo. It was already shared before in the empowerment programs of EdTech. Na-conduct po yan last February. Okay? So you could always visit the YouTube page. Next, ito po, talagang highly recommended ko. Utilize Microsoft Teams, especially if you have an account. Next one will be Google Classroom. Ayan. Kung meron, of course, meron kayong DepEd email account, you can utilize this. Or if you have a regular Gmail, you may do so. Edpuzzle by having a snippet of questions coming from YouTube na pwede nyong i-recreate at maging sarili nyong gawa o lagyan nyo ng sariling flavor. And lastly, YouTube. YouTube for Education. All of these things are helpful tools in conducting our asynchronous session. Okay? So, with that being said, I have again my next set of questions. So, if a flash po yan ng ating webinar director, so I hope you give us an answer here. Please be honest, okay? Tingnan natin yung inyong sagot, okay? What is your main resource material to effectively deliver an online asynchronous session? Maging honest kayo, please. Are you utilizing as the base material yung po ba nating printed modules? Yung po bang ating video lectures or video episodes? Our shared links or materials or files? Or the open educational resources? You choose only one. Choose only one, okay? Kailangan yung mamili ng isa. Ano sa tingin ninyo ang inyong main resource material ngayon kapag kayo ay nagtuturo para maging effective kayo sa pag-deliver ng asynchronous teaching? Na kung tingin ninyo ay kapag wala yun, mahihirapang matuto ang mga bata. Okay, importante yung sagot ninyo. Dahil, alam niyo na, magsasangayan sa kung anong project at kung anong modality dapat yan sumuport. Okay? So, our access code is 74611-495. And please be honest in giving your opinion. Again, it's really important. The question is, what is your main resource material to effectively deliver an online asynchronous session? Can we see the reactions in the field? Let's see kung ano kanilang, di ba? Lumalabas na printed modules. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Hay, hanggat walang printed modules na hawak ang mga guro, mahihirapan din ang ating mga mag-aaral na matuto. Because the baseline materials that they believe that is essential in asynchronous teaching is the module. Kapag walang hawak ang bata, paano sila sasagot? Kapag late dumating ang mga modules, paano magpiprint ang teachers? Everything boils down to the teachers. Siya ang umaako ng bigat. At sa mga guro, naiintindihan ko po at nauunawaan namin kayo, hindi ko alam ang sasabihin regarding this. Ayan, nagiging honest ako Kasi po, sa pandemic situation na ating nararanasan, it's really a collaborative work. Printed modules are the baseline materials in any modalities that we have. DepEd TV cannot create an episode without the module. E-Tulay session cannot have that good session if you don't have a plain material which we will utilize to assist in tutoring. Same thing goes also with the radio-based instruction. Importante ang mga printed modules. Gaya ng ating ipinapakita, lalo pa itong tumataas, talagang nasa 70%, at yan ay makakarating sa ating pong mga partners dito po sa Central Office. Our teachers have shared their sentiments. Their main resource material are the modules, the printed modules. If we cannot deliver it on time, their session, whether online or offline, will be affected. At hindi natin sila pwedeng sisihin at the end of the day na hindi sila nakapagturo ng maayos. Dahil kung walang materials na ibibigay sa ating mga guro, kagaya ng textbook o gaya ng mga modules na ito, wala rin silang maidi-deliver sa ating mga mag-aaral. Hindi natin pwedeng ipilit kung talagang hindi akma. Dahil tayo dapat ang gumagawa ng paraan para maibigay ito sa ating mga guro. The responsibility there is shared. The leadership there should be there. Printed modules should be given to our teachers ahead of time for them to prepare it. Because if we don't have it, any modalities will not be successful. Everything will suffer, especially the learnings of our students. And at the end of the day, we cannot blame the teachers because we need to ask ourselves, do we have already the modules given to them? Kung wala po, then we need to do something double time. Kailangan ng ating mga guro yan. Isang linggo na lang po. Ayan. Salamat. Let me continue with my presentation. So, nakikita natin dito sa datos na ito, hindi po ako nagtuturo kung sino ang may kasalanan. Ang ating pong pinararating dito ay ito ang boses ng ating kaguruan. Na ang sinasabi nila ay kailangan namin ang printed materials na ito because what we can deliver if we don't have it, di ba? We cannot deliver that. Mahirap ituro kung wala tayong basehan. Pero alam natin na kaya ng mga gurong magturo basta makita lang ang konsepto at topic. Pero ayaw natin silang mahirapan. Nahihirapan na nga silang mag-check ng modules, di ba, sa sobrang dami. Mahihirapan pa ba natin sila kung saan sila hahanap ng module? Tama ba ako? Now, let's continue. So, I'm going to share with you the effective strategies that we could have when we conduct our asynchronous teaching. So please take note of it. Huwag na kayo magsulat kasi downloadable naman po ito. So pwede nyo kunan din ng picture and remember these things. Number 1, design a discussion board, quizzes, or digital copies of documents, recorded audio or video in a compact material. Easily downloadable and shareable. Yung pwedeng Bluetooth lang yan, o pwede yung pang thumb drive. Kasi po, kinakailangan, isipin natin yung pinakasimpleng bagay para maabot ito ng iba pang mga learners. Kasi po, mahirap po talaga ang sitwasyon ngayon, especially if you are talking about the pandemic situation. Huhu pa rin ito, pero ang online at asynchronous teaching ay patuloy na nariyan at kinakailangan nating pag-usayin dahil yan ang takbo ng mundo. Next, number 2, let's practice the feedbacking. Importante na kapag nagawa ng isang bata yung isang material sa ating asynchronous activity, let's ask them, did you enjoy the activity? Have we attained the objectives of our lesson? Have that in mind. Dahil kapag wala po nun, wala kang set of parameters, parang ang mangyayari na, pare-pareho ang ating ino-offer. Di ba ang pare-parehong putahe ay nakakasawa? Kinakailangan may variation. And the feedback of our learners is very important to consider. Next, use a variation of e-learning activities which I have mentioned already earlier. 4, set a time frame and a schedule of activities na pwede nilang ulit-ulitin. Alam niyo po, maniwala kayo kung paano po ako na-discover ng Lasal Green Hills, ikukwento ko po sa inyo. Ako ay inilagay sa grade 1. Halos umiyak talaga ako nung inilagay ako sa grade 1 because I am a higher grades teacher. The transition from a higher grades teacher, placing you to grade 1 is really difficult. Why? Masungit kaya akong teacher. O alam niyo ng mga naging estudyante ko, yung naglalakad pa lang ako, lumilinis na yung paligid. Ganun ako. As in, yung salita ko pa lang ay, good morning, my dear gentlemen. Narinig pa lang nila yun, lumilinis na talaga yung paligid. And placing me in grade 1, aba, yung mga bata na naging estudyante ko na, syempre kuya-kuya na nila yun, yung mga kapatid nila, yun ang na-handle ko at panakot talaga. Ay, strict yan si Sir Mark. Ay, masungit yan si Mr. Mark. Syempre, hindi ako pwedeng magsungit sa mga bata at ako ang kinakailangang magturo sa kanila ng basic skills. No read, no write. Talagang hindi sila marunong magsulat, may umiiyak, may dumedede. Lahat na nandun sa classroom na sabi ko nga, ayaya ba ako rito sa loob ng classroom? Gusto ko nang mag-resign, but I respect the decision. Sabi ko nga, it's a challenge. Hindi maganda sumulat ang klase, hindi marunong sumulat ng maayos. I take time to collaborate with parents and give them activities, worksheets, engaging activities online na pwedeng paglaruan ng bata. At maniwala kayo sa hindi, penmanship champion ang aking klase. Sobrang gandang sumulat. At ngayon, high school na sila for sure, grade 9. Ayan. Bukod doon, lahat ay marunong bumasa. Paano ko nagawa? I use compassion, I use technology, and I talk to the parents na kinakailangan nila akong tulungan. Ito ang materials, ito ang thumb drive. I-play mo lang yan ang i-play para dun sa iyong anak at matututunan nila kung paano yung pronunciation ng letters. At unti-unti, I am successful. Yung mga mag-aaral na yon, I am very proud to say, that they are actually my stepping stone on how I improve in educational technology. Grade 1 man sila, pinaggamit ko sa kanila ang technology na kung saan yon ang ginamit ng LaSalle Green Hills as a platform tool at the start. Diba? Every single step can make a difference. At masaya ako na i-share yon dahil hindi question dito kung ano tayo as a teacher, kung ano tayo as a teacher in delivering instruction. Ang importante dito ay ano ang ating maibibigay sa ating mga learners na compassion para maintindihan nila itong konsepto na ito. Marami tayong online tools. Ang kinakailangan lang ay alamin natin kung saan ang interest. Elicit that interest. Next, number 5, have a bite-sized module to accomplish. Alam niyo po, magiging honest ako. Nagugulat talaga ako sa mga modules kasi, ayan, naging honest talaga. I know this is the same sentiments of our teachers. There are areas in the module that it's actually lengthy. Sa sobrang haba, sasabihin ng mga teachers, ano natutunan ng bata? Siguro kinakailangang isipin natin, is it the longevity or is it the preciseness? We need to consider all of these things in creating these tools because anything which is too long, we lost our learners. Ulitin ko po anumang klase ng kagamitang panturo kapag sobrang haba ay isinusuka at inaayawan. Parang mga guro, di ba? Aminin nyo to. Kapag mayroong salita ng salita tapos paulit-ulit at wala ka namang bagong natututunan, di ba ayaw mo na siyang pakinggan? Parang, siya na naman. Yun na naman sasabihin niya. O di ba? It's the same thing. Kung ano ang ayaw natin na ginagawa, siyempre wag nating ulitin sa ating mga learners. We need to devise a way so that engagement in learning will be fulfilling. Okay? Hindi po ako nagpaparinig, pero yun po ang totoo. Let's have a bite-sized module to accomplish. Hindi natin kinakailangan na sobrang haba. Sobrang haba nga, wala naman natutunan, di ba? Let's make it very simple and light, but we are attacking the competencies that they need to understand. Next, let's encourage group collaboration. Wala nga tayong face-to-face, pero pwede natin silang i-engage sa group works like, ikaw, di ba pwede na magka-chat naman kayo. So you need to know your learners kasi they can create meaningful activities. But if you're handling the lower grades, it's very difficult. Huwag ka magpa-collab-collab dyan. Ay nako, baka ma-stress out ka. Bakit? Kasi kung sa lower grades ka magpapakolab, kinakailangan mo ng coordination or help sa kanilang mga guardians o parents kasi hindi nila masusundan kung anong dapat pindutin. Kinakailangan nila ng guide doon. Okay? So again, proper planning is needed. And number 7, incorporate and create connections which is relatable. When you have exercises, use their names, ayan, para ma-engage mo sila. Pero kapag ginamit mo yung pangalan, dapat hindi naman negative ang tone. Hindi yung si Pepito ay ubod ng taba. Huwag naman ganun. Kapag gumawa tayo ng mga exercises, it should be on the positive side. Kahit na alam natin na ang example na yun ay akma, dapat ay makatao ang ating ibinibigay ng mga questions. Let's avoid questions that is ethnically or yung tunog niya ay nagiging racist. Kailangan alisin natin yun. Dapat tayo mismo, when we create set of questions, dapat ang tinatandaan natin ay kino-consider natin ang culture at ang pagpapahalaga sa ating kapwa. So to our teachers na nagkikreate ng mga asynchronous materials and you want to share it, you could always email oer@deped.gov.ph. But again, kagaya ng aking binanggit kanina, you will be solely responsible for the copyright. Make sure that when you share it, it's your own work. Okay? This is your opportunity to share your resource material. You could email that one. It's there already, oer@deped.gov.ph. So that when you conduct your asynchronous activity, your learners will be redirected to the system. Just go to DepEd Commons and look for it. O, di ba? Dali lang. So, with these effective strategies that I have mentioned, I have another question that you need to answer. Okay, it will be flashed onto our screen. Ayan, ito naman ay pang Miss Universe na question. Ayan. In your opinion, which equipment is beneficial, useful, and applicable to deliver an online instruction? O pagkakataon niyo na ito, kung makakausap ninyo si Yusek Alain Del Pascua, ano kaya sa tingin ninyo na equipment ang beneficial at useful para sa ating pagtuturo? Choose. Is it laptop? Next, is it going to be a tablet, Android OS? Or is it going to be a cell phone? Choose your preferred answer. Hit now, okay? Let's see. Habang hinihintay natin ang paglabas ng mga sagot, remember the code to participate in our session doon po sa ating activity. It's 761-1495. Again, it's 7461-1495. Our question is, in your opinion, which equipment is beneficial, useful, and applicable to deliver an online instruction? Okay? Oh, ano kaya sa tingin natin? Can we see the responses of our participants? Ano ang winika na sangkaguruan? Oops, lumalabas ay color blue, laptop. Okay. I know that Yusek Alain is currently watching. Yusek, nagsalita na po ang sangkaguruan para maging epektibo ang paggamit ng teknolohiya sa kanilang pagtuturo. Talagang it's a must that they need to have laptops. Please, laptops for teachers. We request that. Ang request po na yon ay naniniwala ako na kapag ating pong na-provide, maibibigay ng ating mga guro yung hinahanap natin na integration ng concepts sa ICT para makapag-deliver sila ng quality instruction. Mahirap magturo kung wala pong kagamitan. Opo, at nabuhay ang mga guro before sa paggamit ng Manila paper, cartolina, pentel pen, but with this changing time, it's important to support their needs. And I am very happy to share with all of our colleagues who are currently watching, DepEd is listening to all of you. That's why with this laptop for teachers, soon it will happen. Darating yan sa inyo. Sa mga taga Negros Oriental, nagbigay talaga ako ng andyan po kami anytime this week. I will not mention the name of the schools, but we'll be having a run-through of a session to empower the teachers. And after that, continuous na po na mangyayari yon. I am very positive that our teachers will receive these laptops. And thank you for the government officials who have already shared and gave teachers, the public school teachers, laptops to use. Ganon din po sa mga personnel ng SDO na talagang nag-isip ng paraan para maipagpatuloy at makaagapay sa mga guro at sila ay makapagturo gamit ang teknolohiya. And I'm very happy. I think that's 90% laptops for teachers. Agree ako dyan. Kaya i-push natin yan. Ako po, ipupush ko pala yan para sa inyo dahil mangyayari at mangyayari po yan. Ipinapangako po namin na yan po ay mangyayari. Kung hindi man agad-agad, yan po ay mangyayari. Okay po? So let's continue. This will be my last slide, but I'll be sharing to you the best practices on how we are going to conduct an asynchronous session. Okay? And after that, I'll be having my question and answer portion. Ayan. So regarding with the best practices for asynchronous learning, we need to consider all of these things. Number one, use readily made materials from reliable sources. Importante na reliable talaga para po less tayo sa pag-check nung tinatawag natin na grammar o yung meron bang typo error. At sa mga teachers naman na gustong mag-share ng readily made materials, make sure that it is already quality assured para po mas makatulong sa iba pang teachers at makakatulong din yan sa ating mga parents. Next, make online materials shareable for the benefit of many because there are a lot of tools which is having a settings. May ilan po, kagaya ko, ayan, dati po kapag gumawa ko ng instructional tool, maramot ako hindi siya shareable. So ang ginagawa ko lang, set to private. But if we want to inspire more and if we want to help more learners, then we need to set it with public so that they could easily locate it. At nung dumating yung time ng 2014, a wake-up call for me in utilizing EdTech, hindi na ako nagpa-private ng aking mga sessions. I will make it a point na mapanood, makita, kasi po, hindi ko madadala sa hukay ang kahusayan sa EdTech. Kinakailangan ang mga sangkaguruan ay matuto po nito. And once you learn these things, continue by inspiring other teachers who have not learned or who have not watched that kind of session. Next, number 3, activities not more than 40 minutes to accomplish. Kasi meron po talaga akong mga nakikita na activities na sobrang tagal, parang yun lang yung subject nila. Huwag pong ganon. Kinakailangan para mahalin ng mga bata ang ating subject. Kinakailangan ay alam natin kung paano i-atake ito ng maayos. So, please take note of this. Screen time should be considered. But, again, we cannot avoid the fact that there are several subjects in the Philippines. But, with these things, importante na i-consider natin na yung kanilang i-accomplish ay not more than 40 minutes. Next, use a reflective format to elicit critical thinking. Bakit reflective question? Kasi po, dun yung makikita paano nila ipinroseso ang kanilang pagkatuto. Use simple directions. Use a variated activities or variation of activities. And make sure to gamify it. Kahit na marami kang variation, importanteng naka-gamify siya. Yung pwedeng magkaroon ng automatic response ng mga answers dahil makakatulong sa ating mga learners. And if you want to learn more about these asynchronous activities, you can watch the Saturday sessions or the previous recorded sessions of the EdTech unit. Doon po tinuturo ang different OER tools kung saan magagamit po ninyo panigurado sa pagtuturo. And I'm sure your learners will have the aha moment. And lastly, number 8, engage in compelling audio or video lessons. Importante po ito dahil kinakailangan ay alam natin kung ano ang kanilang needs. You can always visit DepEd TV, YouTube channel. Doon po makikita niyo po ang mga e-tulay sessions, ang mga video lessons ng DepEd TV na pwede niyong i-share at ibahagi sa inyong mga learners as a supplemental tool. Take note, asynchronous learning is a supplemental concept that we are providing for our learners. So, to end that, I want you to answer this activity. I have my last question. Ayan, at ipa-flash po yan. Ayan. So please, be honest again in answering it. And I'm sure lahat kayo ay magiging interested sa pagsagot ng tanong na ito. At makakarating sa kanya ang inyong mga tugon. Let's see the questions. Question. Ayan. So, sa mga kaguro po natin na nanonood po ngayon, pakatandaan po natin na tayo po ay gumagamit ng menti.com at ito po ay may code na 746-11495. So, kanina ay tinanong ko kung in your own opinion, what will be the best equipment na gamitin. So, nasagot na natin. Ngayon po, lilipat tayo sa next question. So, hintayin lang po natin na ma-flash po yan sa ating screen. O, di ba, ongoing, meron pa rin sumasagot sa previous question natin. So, maraming salamat po sa ating mga online participants. And get ready with your questions na akin din pong sasagutin din po. Okay, so, again, ang ating pong ginagamit ay menti.com. So, please go to that and have the code 746-11495. Now, this question is meant for everybody. How will you promote the maximum use of technology in instruction? Again, how will you promote the maximum use of technology in instruction? How are you going to utilize it? Okay? So marami tayong nakita dito, use it extensively. Meron nakita dito, laptop. I think yung word na laptop ay provide us laptop so that we can maximize the use of it. Tama ba ako? Ayan. Nakita rin natin, provide incentives for teachers. I highly commend that. Ako po, aminado ako na being a teacher, gusto ko ma-incentivize talaga ang teachers. So if you have a suggestion onto it, please post that one. Makakarating po sa kanila kung ano ang suggestion on how to incentivize but make it very reasonable. Okay? Next, nakalagay dito, have it in YouTube, have it as shared material. So thank you regarding it. So napakita ang concept na sharing tool. As teachers, let's work together at maraming salamat sa mga teachers na nagke-create ng mga sites like yung nakikita natin na nag-share ng mga tools. Very helpful po yun dahil isa lang ang ipinapakita doon. Buhay po ang bayanihan sa ating mga puso at isipan. Pero let's not use those things to earn. Kasi po, ang nakakalungkot, ginawa siya ng isang teacher nung nakita natin, ibinigay natin nga sa publiko, pero sinisingil natin. I think it's high time for us to think of it that if we have something, can we offer it for free? Or kung ayaw naman natin i-offer for free, then let's just put it in an aspect na hindi po siya nakakababa sa pagkatao ng isang guro. Kasi po, nakakalungkot isipin na ang binibentang mga materials ay gawa po ng ibang teacher. Siguro po kung ibibenta po ang isang resource material, it's okay if it is crafted by that person, that will be okay. But it's really hurting if a certain material published, hindi na nga siya nakilala, hindi na nga siya nabigyan ng recognition, ginamit pa yung kanyang material para maka-earn ang ibang tao ng pera na hindi naman yun ang kanyang gusto. So I hope with all of these things, we need to reflect on ourselves with our values in it. Because when we talk about technology, hindi lang yan basta sa paggamit nito. Tinutukoy din natin ang reflection ng ating mga sarili. So with our another question, i-reflect po ang ating session post. Let's go to the next question na maipa-flash po. Okay. So after asking you on how you're going to promote the maximum use of technology in instruction, let's have this one. Kapag kayo ay tinanong sa paggamit ng tools, di ba ang dali-dali nating sagutin na ito ang kailangan namin. Pero paano kapag important na tao na po ang ating kausap? So let's wait for it to be flashed. Ayan. Ipapakita po yung ating next question. Ang question na pang beauty queen ang tanong. If you are allowed to talk to our president, how can we make access to technology equal to everybody? What is your proposed action plan? Di ba? Medyo mabigat-bigat. Bakit po? Gamitin na natin itong pagkakataon na ito. Di ba pag nagkaroon kayo ng INSET at school days, di ba pinag-uusapan niyo yan? Ngayon po, ginawa natin siya in a national scale, in a voluntary basis. Since it's in a national scale, it's easy for us to forward that to our executives, to our leaders, that these are our proposals on how we're making technology equal to everybody. So please be honest in giving your answer and please make sure that that is reasonable and doable. Baka mamaya kakaiba naman ang mga nilagay natin, di ba? So if you are allowed to talk to our president, how can we make access to technology equal to everybody? What is your proposed action plan? So if I will be asked, kunyari ako, my proposed action plan will be, can we have a commonality among all teachers, whether they are in the province, in the city, whether they are ALS mobile or ALS teachers, ang importante ay equal ang kanilang natatanggap na oportunidad. If a training is given, provide it. If someone is given internet connectivity, load, provide it. Kailangan equal ang opportunity. Yun po ay aking perspective, hindi yun ay perspektibo ng DepEd. Ulitin ko yun ay aking opinion. So nagbibigay lang ako ng aking example if I will be asked with this question. At nakakatawa, karamihan ng sinabi dito ay free and stable internet. I believe that if nakikinig sa atin ngayon si Pangulong Duterte, ang kailangan talaga ng mga teachers, para magkaroon ng equal access and opportunity is to have a stable internet connection. And I believe as a teacher, if we have a stable internet connection, it will give progress not only with the educational system in our country, but also with regards to our business, with regards to our economy, and also with other sectors involved. Hindi lang po education. Kaya maraming salamat sa pakikibahagi sa amin at handa na po ako ulit na sumagot ng mga questions ninyo. Ang mga nakita ninyong PowerPoint presentation ay all reflective in format. These are all the best practices and challenges that I think it will be useful to you to reflect on, at yan ay madadownload ninyo sa LMS. Okay, so thank you very much for listening and attending to this session.
Yes, thank you very much, Sir Mark. So while we are waiting for the questions from our teachers, we just would like to remind everyone regarding forms that are circulating right now. So based po dun sa binigay naming instruction kanina that the Google Forms will only be used for your questions that will be sent to our speakers. So right now kasi Teacher May, meron tayo nakita that we have this attendance for the virtual in-service training. Yan, yung kulay pink for public school teachers. So definitely this one po ay hindi po nanggaling dito sa EdTech unit. So katulad nga po ng sinabi namin kanina, the registration wherein you're going to have your attendance will be through the PDLMS, or for the Professional Development Learning Management System. That is the only authorized site by the EdTech unit here at the DepEd Central Office. So please teachers, maging careful po tayo sa pag-fill in ng mga data natin because definitely this one is not from our office po.
Yes po. And meron pa rin pong Google Forms na kumakalat no, for session evaluation. So please be careful po because if you are going to fill out these forms po, you are also sharing information. And these information po that you are sharing might be used in dangerous ways. So please, teachers, the Google Forms that we are circulating are only for questions, not for session evaluation, and not for this one, the one flashed in our screen a while ago. Ingat lang po, teachers, ha, maging mapanuri po sa mga Google Forms na sinasagutan po ninyo.
Yes po. Kaya naman po maraming salamat po sa lahat ng teachers na nag-inform sa amin sa concern po ninyo. And tama po talaga yan, magtulong-tulong lang po tayo.
Yes.
Okay? At dahil po dyan, while we are still waiting for the questions na sasagutin po mamaya ni Sir Mark, we also would like to acknowledge ang dami nating mga shoutout. No? And
Sobra po.
alam niyo po, teachers, hindi po kami mapapagod na gawin ito because definitely this activity is for you. Kaya naman po, ang maliit na kaligayahan na katulad nito na ma-shoutout ay ibibigay po talaga namin sa inyo. So starting off from Commonwealth National High School with their Principal Dr. Agapito Lera, Novaliches High School Principal Dr. Luis P. Tagayon, Senior High School Internal Focal Person Dr. Joseph Adan, and Senior High School External Focal Person Ma'am Elsa Pinla.
Okay, shout out naman din po kay Sir Alan James G. Legson ng Santa Lucia High School SDO Pasig. Ang principal po ni Sir ay si Mr. Richard E. Santos. Ganun din po kay Ma'am Maria Hana V. Kendosa ng Dr. Celodonio A. Salvador Elementary School, Division of Manila. Principal po niya ay si Ma'am Reynora Laurenciano. Shout out din po kay Sir Pedro Caigoy ng Cruz Naligas High School po.
Yan. Okay. So, another shout out po from Bais City Division Negros Oriental, Cambagahan National High School, teachers from Giginto National Vocational High School with their school head, Sir Roman Cariot, and from SDO Bulacan. And I think nakikita po natin ngayon sa screen natin, Teacher May, isa pong teacher from Santa Maria Elementary School.
Yes, sir.
Dumaran Mainland District, Palawan. So nakikita natin yung effort ni Ma'am, no?
At ang name po ni Ma'am ay si Ma'am Mary Joy Torres. Talagang inaakit pa ni Ma'am, sir, yung mataas na place sa kanila para magka-signal just to tune in our INSET. Kaya Ma'am, saludo kami sa galing mo, Ma'am. And sa dedication mo na mag-tune in sa INSET natin.
Oo. So ayan, katulad nga ni Ma'am, no? Talagang lahat ginawa, tinawid ang bundok. Mag-ingat lang po, Ma'am, baka medyo maulan po ngayon dyan kasi medyo maulan dito sa NCR. Okay? Also, we would like to Shoutout po sa Ismael Matay Senior High School with their principal, Dr. Modesto G. Villarin, MAPI Department from Ma'am Carla Sangoyo. Shoutout also to Arnedo Elementary School with their school head, Rosemary Tabarejos, and all the teachers of District of Bolinao with their PSDS root kaalaman from Ma'am Hana and Sir John Wilbur Gale.
Alright, shout out din po sa teachers ng Division of Angeles City headed by SDS Dr. Maria Irene P. Tamayo, and then po sa mga teachers ng San Roque Elementary School, pinakabati po kayo ni Ma'am Angie de los Santos. Hello po sa aking senior sa PNU, Sir Mark Rainier Presto Ignacio.
Ayan. So also, shout out din po sa SDO Dagupan City. Ayan. So alam ko na ang EdTech ay papunta po talaga sa mga regions na to. Headed by SDS Mr. Aguedo C. Fernandez, ASDS Ma'am Criselda Ocam, Bliss Elementary School, School Head Ma'am Shezidi E. Agas, Tangos 1 Elementary School with their principal Ma'am Maria Fe Gubilo and Mr. June Lucas, Las Piñas Elementary School Central, Dr. Riza Melievo, ayan, kapitbahay ko po yan si Ma'am Melo po. Then, Ma'am Beatriz Ambat of Doña Manuela Elementary School, Maribel San Miguel of Las Piñas East National High School,
Yes.
SDO Caloocan, Shalito Zamora Junior High School with their AP Department Head Jocelyn Tarayo and their principal Sir Alvin D. Angos from Ma'am Melody Sanchez.
So ito medyo malayo-malayo sa Negros Occidental po, sa Dianay National High School, sa principal po nila, Sir Glenn Gabriel. Hello po sa inyo dyan. And I would like to greet these people, Justa Bian, Charles Malpong, Sir Vin Manalili, Dave Infanso, Joshua Garcia, Kirsten Gale, Robinson Taytayon, Joe Beryak, Marjorie Lapugot. Hello.
Ayan po. So may pa-shoutout din po Sir Ronald Celino and Teaching Force Amparayaw, National High School Pangasinan 1. Ayan. So ready na po yung ating questions?
Are they ready?
Ayan. So dahil wala ka po,
Tuloy-tuloy lang tayo, sure.
yes. So we also would like to shout out po magandang buhay po kay Teacher Mabe, Teacher Riza, and Teacher Racy ng Parulan Elementary School and CAA National High School, Dr. Efren Parilla, MAPE teachers, and faculty.
All right, I would like to say thank you to the teachers of Navota Central Elementary School and Tangos Elementary School for sharing your talents through your Sailor Pupils for my English 5 lessons. Thank you po sa mga schools na ito.
Ayan po. And also lahat po ng ITOs ng Region 1. Ayan, shout out po sa inyong lahat. And alam ko yung Region 1, Region 2, Region 3, alam ko talagang i-invade na yan ng EdTech. Kaya naman yung mga nasa NCR, wag po tayo magpapahuli dito. Karirin na po natin yung napakagandang opportunity na binibigay sa atin ng EdTech. And also, we would like to greet yung mga tech titos natin from Cavite. Ayan. So sila yung mga tumutulong po sa atin to make this event very much possible and successful.
Okay, kinakabati rin po ni Ma'am Marites Castillo de Sena ang Kapitbahayan Elementary School ng Navotas. Hello po.
Yes, and of course, ang ating mga DepEd TV teacher broadcasters mula kinder hanggang grade 12.
Yes.
Ayan, so ang ating mga itulay tutors din, ma'am, ang ating mga ALS teachers, ito yung mga ALS teachers natin talagang sobrang sisipag po.
Yes.
And as well as ang dedication din ng ating mga SPED teachers. Magandang hapon po sa lahat.
And speaking of dedication po, I would like to greet the grade 5 teacher broadcasters under EP Andres Bonifacio. Sir, alam mo ngayon, nag-workshop sila, no? Brainstorming for the quarter 3 episodes. Hello mga moms and sirs, no? Good luck dyan and I miss you all.
Yes, and of course, pa-shoutout din sa Lucero Elementary School, Ma'am Gina N. Valdez, Principal 2, PSDS, Ruth Kaalaman, and all the teachers. Ayan. So magandang hapon po sa lahat. Okay, so again, we would like to remind you teachers po no, na yung kumakalat po na Google Forms ay hindi po galing dito sa EdTech Central Office. Ang kailangan lang pong gawin ay mag-fill up po tayo sa PDLMS. So ngayon po nakaka-encounter tayo ng surge. But we would like to remind you that you are not required to register po agad-agad. So pwede naman po siya, we're going to have it open naman, di ba, Teacher May?
Yes,
Ayan.
and then dumako naman tayo sa mga good comments no dun sa ating presentation led by Sir Mark. Sabi ni Joralyn Rosas Frugalidad, well done Sir Mark, thank you for sharing your expertise. Meron din po, sabi ni Ma'am Estrella Ponte de Leon, thank you for being mindful of the seasoned teacher, Sir Mark. So talagang na-appreciate ni Ma'am kung gaano na-emphasize ni Sir na we cannot really have new teachers without these seasoned teachers. We sincerely want to learn the new educational technology to help our students more. Tama ang sinabi ni Sir na siguro they are just intimidated pero they really wanted to learn the new technologies.
Yes, and at this point, our questions are now ready. Sir Mark, are you ready to answer po?
All right.
Okay. So we're going to have our first question.
Okay.
Easy lang tayo ulit.
For 5,000 pesos.
Okay, so our first question, Sir Mark. How will the teacher address and simplify this type of learning in order to meet or cope up with the needs and availability of the resources of our learners?
I always believe that in order for a teacher to address this, there is a support coming from the division, the regional offices, and the central office. The teacher alone cannot do it. Therefore, we ask for our leaders in the department to please help out our teachers. They cannot move by themselves. We need to assist them. So in order to address this one, to have these resources, a political will can do it. So to our leaders in the division offices, if you have something, your custom fit resources, then provide that one with your teachers. Kung wala naman po sa division level, iakyat natin sa regional scale, provide it. At kung wala, at ito talaga ang aking pinapanalangin, sana dumating ang panahon na ang mga materials ay maging centralized para hindi po nalilito ang mga teachers kung saan po ito kukunin. Alam ko yan ang panalangin ng bawat guro, yan ang inyong boses, at ako yung mismo ang aking sinasabi dahil yun ay aking honest opinion. Uulitin ko, ito ay aking opinion dahil tinanong ako sa ganyang kasagutan. Hindi po yan sagot ng DepEd, pero yan ay sagot ko bilang isang tao, bilang isang guro. And I always appreciate our teachers. Walang etchos to dahil ang mga guro natin ay talagang nahihirapan. Hindi nila alam kung saan kukunin. Ang dami kong natatanggap na tanong na, Sir Mark, do we already have modules? It's always hard to explain that we are still waiting for it to arrive. Kaya naiiyak ako. Bakit kaya? Kasi sino ang mahihirapan at sino ang magdadala ng burden na ito? At the end of the day, it's not the higher officials actually. It's our teachers because they are the one closest to our learners. So, ako po, ang linya ko ay nasa EdTech. Ang aking maipapangako ay to provide a good EdTech tool para maitawid natin ang pagkatuto. But I don't have a command regarding our modules. It's with our partners in the curriculum and instruction. And I hope alam ko naman na ginagawa nila ang kanilang best. Let's give that trust in them that they are doing very well, that they are doing something to provide these resources. Mahirap po kasi na iasa natin sa mga guro yung lahat. Napakahaba ng panahon na kanilang hinintay para sa mga modules, napakahaba ng preparasyon. Kinakailangan ipakita natin sa ating mga kaguruan ang ating legwork din. Hindi puro salita, gawin ito para sa mga guro. So I hope with that answer, wala po akong kinakalaban po o wala akong sinisisi. Ang aking pong pino-point out dito ay nakita natin kanina sa survey na ginawa natin na ang modular materials ang baseline material ng mga guro. Let's provide that. dapat nagawa talaga siya, pinag-isipan ng mabuti na plano. Dahil kapag ginawa ito na may perpektong plano, hindi mahihirapan ang mga gurong Pilipino para magkaroon kami ng pahinga. Ayan, salamat po. So I hope nakuha po ninyo yung meaning ng aking answer doon. Again, it's really hard because we need to work hard as a department. Hindi kinakailangan na kanya-kanya. And let's avoid blaming each other. Ang kinakailangan natin gawin ay humanap ng solusyon para maitawid ang pagkatuto ng mga bata. Kung kinakailangan gumawa ng activity sheets dahil walang modules, teachers, let's do it. Ako, yun ang aking perspective lagi. Hindi natin kinakailangan ng napakaraming etos. Ang kinakailangan natin ay ano ang hahawakan ng mga bata para matuto. Ganun lang. Less words, more actions. And those actions must be seen, reflected, doable, and felt by our teachers, seen by our teachers in the field. Because if we have that, then we hear them out. Alam natin kung ano ang kanilang nararamdaman. So, thank you.
Alright. Thank you, Sir Mark, for that touching answer for the first question. Let's now go to the second question. And the second question is, how can we assure that learning takes place during an online synchronous teaching?
For me, it's simple to determine if our learners do really learn in a synchronous and asynchronous way of teaching. Have a candid assessment. Di ba nga, na-mention ko kanina, have a feedbacking mechanism. Kinakailangan yung ating question ay witty. Ano yung ibig ko sabihin doon? Kapag ginawa natin very objective, ang ating mga tanong, halimbawa, sino ang Pangulo ng Pilipinas sa panahon ng mga Hapones? Ganun lang ang ating tanong. Ang dali i-Google, di ba? So, shallow. Paano natin masasabi na malaki talaga ang kanilang natutunan? Ibahin natin ang tanong. Kung ikaw ay naging pangulo sa panahon ng digmaang, nung panahon na yon, ano ang iyong gagawin para makatulong sa mga Pilipino? Di ba? Something creative. Dapat ganun ang way of questioning para malaman natin kung meron ba silang natutunan. Teachers should know how to create these creative questions. At iwasan natin yung questions na isa lang ang sagot. Yung very shallow talaga, maganda na na-express at na-explain ng mga bata ang kanilang perspective. Sa pamamagitan nun, masasabi natin epektibong natuto sila. Kagaya sa ating face-to-face instruction. Isn't it that when we conduct our face-to-face instruction, ang bilis natin sabihin na yes, yes, and yes. Pero sa online instruction, paano natin mag-gauge? Pwede mo naman silang i-chat, pwede mo silang kausapin onto the side, you can have a chat or call para lang mag-gauge. Simple kamustahan. Learning, utilizing technology should not be that box. Yung dekahon, it should not be box. Because nakita nyo nga di ba ang symbol ng internet? Letter E nga pero pabilog. Dapat we know how to circle it and engage our learners collaboratively. Hindi natin sila bibilugin pero itinuturo natin ang epektibong paraan sa paggamit nito. So I hope I have answered that one clearly. So again, paano natin ma-assure? Babalik yan sa teachers. If nakita mo na ginawa mo 100% at ang way of questioning technique mo ay nandoon, matutukoy at matutukoy mo kung talagang natuto ang iyong mag-aaral. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Mark. So we'll now proceed to our third question. Is asynchronous learning really effective in terms of discipline for learners to answer on time?
Ako yung tumawa. Ayan. Bakit po ako napahagikik? When we have asynchronous activity, it's like a gamified activity that they can repeat several times. Parang constant practice makes perfect. Because if that is gamified, talagang masasabi ko learning will take place. Bakit? O sige nga, kayo, pag kayo ba ay nag-video okay, yung paborito nyo bang kanta ay na-memorize ninyo yung code o number? Kung opo ang inyong sagot, bakit? Di ba? Dahil lagi ninyong kinakanta yun. So parang ganun din sa asynchronous type of learning. Kapag meron kang set of questions at readily made na pwedeng ulit-ulitin ng bata, na ma-master at na ma-master kasi nila yun. So sa asynchronous learning, talagang in a way, masasabi natin effective, pero may gauge yun pero kapag nagbigay ka ng ibang question o atake ng question, medyo mali lang yung spelling na nakikita ko, double S yung asynchronous. O, di ba? Nag-QA pa ako. So, if ever we have it, ayan, edit nyo na yan, o may ma-opera tayo. So, if ever you have these things na online asynchronous, ang ating tatandaan lagi ay dapat engaging, compelling, effective, at fun talaga. Kasi pag ginamify natin yon habang inuulit-ulit ng ating mga learners, talagang natutunan nila yung concept. Ang challenge lang doon ay, kapag nagbibigay ako ng panibagong question, kaya-kaya nilang sagutin. That's why it's important for you to have a session on how to create an artistic question, the art of questioning. So, with our school heads and principals who are currently watching, meron akong isang request. Kung meron kayong gagawin na programa sa inyong school, I think the best one would be having the art of questioning. Kasi yun ang kulang na kulang sa ating mga teachers. Bakit ko po nasabi? Sanay na sanay tayong magtanong ng low-level questions, pero takot na takot tayo kung paano natin i-atake ng high-level questions. If you want that, I'll promise, that EdTech unit will have one session about the art of questioning. And we will be having experts in the field na makakasama para i-deliver yon. Promise ko po sa inyo, we will have that anytime soon. At sa mga school heads, yun po ang aking payo para mas lalong humusay ang ating mga guro. Kasi nagsisimula lahat ng pagkatuto sa magandang pagtatanong.
That is right, Sir Mark. Now we will be going over to our fourth question. I think I have a hard time reading this because the letters are very small. Thank you to our technical director. Here's the question, Sir Mark. What best practices can you share in terms of handling learners who are non-readers, whose parents are also non-readers and are living in a distant and hazardous area in a modular learning modality?
Napakahirap ng tanong. Ayan. Hinga muna ako ng malalim. Pero may sagot po ako dyan. First, you cannot do it alone. Hindi tayo superhero. Then, the first thing that you need to do is to collaborate with the barangay. After that, collaborate with anyone in the community who could assist, DSWD. Pwede po yun. Para po, sinabi nyo kasi hazardous yung area niya. So kinakailangan ay masigurado natin na safe yung magde-deliver ng tools. Yun ang una natin kinakailangan i-consider. Kasi kung risk yung sa buhay nila, walang darating sa lugar na yan. Baka maya puro Armalite pala yun nandoon, di ba? So we need to consider the safety of the people that we ask for help. So yun yung una. And then after that, di ba malayo nga. Dahil malayo, coordinate with someone na pwede mong magamit na pwede mong sakyan para makapunta ka doon sa lugar na yon. I believe that if a teacher has that heart to reach those learners, mayroon at mayroong tutulong. Okay? So yun yung pangalawa. Napansin nyo pa backward ang aking ginawang style. And then, whose parents are non-readers? Alam nyo po kung ganun ang nangyari. Kung akong tatanungin na, you are hitting two birds with one stone. Si parent na hindi no read no write, have it with us. The learners who doesn't have the capability, yan yung naka-streamline sa atin, yan yung nasa regular track, guide it. At sa pamamagitan nito, nakipag-collab ka sa iyong community for a safe travel there to deliver. Sunod, humanap ka ng partner or stakeholder na makakatulong for transit. And third, collaborate with an ALS mobile teacher to support the parent and you as a teacher to support the learner. Having that, you will be able to teach them how to read. So, ganun po. Hindi ko sinasabing parang simple lang. Alam kong mahirap po yun. Sapagkat mahirap turuan talaga ang tao na nakulang sa capability ganun. Ang kinakailangan lang natin ay isipin natin na kaya natin gawin. Now, in terms of having a centralized material, I believe that there are a lot of tools already, there's a lot of research made, kinakailangan lang ay gamitin yung mga kagamitan na ito at maibaba sa field para matulungan ang mga mag-aaral natin na matutong bumasa at matutong sumulat. For example, in ICTS Educational Technology Unit, we have e-tulay session. Sa e-tulay, meron po tayong math remediation program para magabayan yung mga bata na hirap pang magbasa. But again, it's utilizing technology. What if they don't have that tool? Eh wala rin sa kanilang kuryente. Talagang mahirap. Again, that is a different story now. Collaboration with local government officials is necessary with the barangay para matulungan po yung ganong klase ng scenario. So, it's not really the work of a teacher alone. It's a collaborative effort. Ayan. Salamat po.
Okay, sir. So I guess this is our last question. How can we help our pupils even if we introduce the asynchronous and synchronous and yet they have poor connection?
Okay, if we are going to introduce asynchronous and synchronous activities with our learners and yet they have poor connections, ang aking masasabi dito ay dyan papasok yung ibang modalities in teaching, which is the TV-based instruction. However, kinakailangan ng TV-based instruction ay align din o kasabay ng nangyayari sa field para maging applicable. Next, importante din para matulungan natin itong mga learners na to na mahina ang kanilang internet connection, sulatan ninyo yung inyong government official na is it possible na magkaroon tayo ng pa-internet dito sa ating community? Because asking is not, I know it's not simple, but it's possible. If we voice it out, then we know that it is the responsibility of our heads, our leaders, because when they have that position given by the people, ipinangako nila na tutulungan nila ang mga tao. At sa panahong ito, alam ko, naniniwala ako na yun ay kabahagi ng kanilang responsibilidad. So, it's really hard for us to deliver it if other sectors are not helping us. But as a teacher, if you want to help your learners, there are a lot of offline interactive materials that even if it is disconnected to the internet, it will work effectively as long as there is a device utilized by the learner. Ang mahirap lang dito ay kung walang device ang learner. Kaya kinonduct po natin ang iba't ibang stages ng OER last year. So if ever you ask this question at hindi po kayo aware about open educational resources, we have conducted that last year with several sessions kung paano po gumamit ng technology na pwedeng tumakbo kahit na offline para mag-gauge po ninyo ang inyong learners. And after that, makakasupport po ito sa paggamit ng kanilang modular materials. So I hope nasagot ko po ang last question na sobrang hirap. Ayan. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Sir Mark, for answering the questions of our audience today. Alam mo sir, ang dami kong learning ngayong araw na ito, no? So I will ask you, sir, what's your one big word that will summarize your learning for today?
Actually, for me, it's all about innovation.
Mhm.
Yeah, kasi as we start with DepEd TV and all the innovations na pwede nating gamitin for our class, sobrang nakakatulong siya for teachers, lalong-lalo na those who are having their online classes and as well as their modular classes na ngayon. So for me, innovation yung aking word for today.
Ako, sir, mo ko.
So ikaw naman, May, Teacher May. Ayan.
Ayan,
Sige, gawin natin parang
Hindi
pang Miss
kasi-
Universe. Okay.
Ako, may big word for today is puso, no? Kasi yung mga reports, puso talaga, no? Yung mga reports, tsaka yung mga programs ng ETU, no? Pati yung sinasabi ni Sir Mark about the synchronous and asynchronous, these things would not be great without doing it using your heart. Alam mo yun?
Actually, naalala ko yung
Grabe.
isang saying dyan. Sabi nga, education of the heart is the heart of education.
And you cannot do great things without love, sir. Laging nasa puso. Nasa puso. Kanta
Yes.
talaga, no? Nasa puso. Talagang sa puso lamang, no? Kadenang bintu ba to?
Ayan.
Okay. So, that's it, no? For our reflections for today. Innovation and puso.
Ayan. So that is why we also would like to inform everyone po, lahat po ng mga teachers natin. As of today, ngayong 4 p.m., meron na pong nakaka-receive ng mga Certificate of Attendance and Certificate of Participation because activated na po yung reflective
Yes.
questions and quiz this afternoon. So once masubmit nyo po yung answer sa reflections ninyo, and masubmit po yung quiz, then madadownload na po automatically yung Certificate of Attendance and Participation.
Okay. Baka po, note ko lang na baka yung ibang attendees or audience natin ay makaranas ng low or poor connection sa website. Yun po, no, sa sobrang dami ng users at sa sobrang sabay-sabay na uma-access ng website, baka yun po. So, don't worry naman po, hindi naman po nawawala yung mga courses natin. So, tiyaga lang po. Patience
Opo.
the virtue.
So if ever hindi po kayo maka-access today, don't worry. If ever bukas po, okay na po yung servers natin at kinaya po yung system natin dahil hindi na po tayo nagsa-search. Pwede nyo pong sagutan yung mga questions na yun. Then right there and then, pwede nyo pong makuha yung inyong Certificate of Attendance and Certificate of Participation. So don't forget to log in to training.deped.gov.ph. Again, that's training.deped.gov.ph.
Okay. So, shall we go to the shout-out, sir?
Yes, habang nagsha-shoutout po kami sa lahat ng mga teachers that are requesting, we also would like to inform you of the evaluation na gagawin natin for today. So ito po ang totoong evaluation galing dito sa EdTech unit from the DepEd Central Office.
Note ko lang, sir, na hindi ito yung evaluation session na kumakalat ko earlier, ha? This is the official evaluation form para po sa ating session for today. Again, this is the official evaluation po for our session for today. Or if there are earlier evaluation po, hindi po yun yung mga official forms.
Ayan, so get ready with your phones. Paki-open na po ang ating mga scanners. At ito po ang ating day 1 session evaluation.
Okay?
Ayan. So while we are having the evaluation, habang nag-grab po kayo niyan, habang nagsascan kayo, we would like to make some shout out po for SDO Nueva Ecija with their SDS Dr. Jessie D. Ferrer, SDO San Jose Nueva Ecija, SDS Dr. Johanna Herbacio, and SDO Mabalacat, Dr. Erickson Sabacan. Good
Okay.
afternoon po.
Apo, full support po ang principal natin from General Vita Belarmino Integrated National High School ng Silang Cavite, Principal for Delisa A. De La Rosa. Tapos po, hello po sa mga watchers natin sa Region 2. And then hello din po sa Nilo District. Ang principal mo ay si Principal Noemi Brul. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then, ang kanilang SDS po ay si Sir Wilmer Dahite or Dahile. Hello din po kay Ma'am Dalisay Cordero Comede. Miss you, ma'am, from San Remigio 2 or San Remigio 2 of Cebu Province Division.
And also, shout out po sa Punta Engano High School Teachers, Division of Lapu-Lapu City with their SDS Dr. Wilfreda Bongalos, DepEd Lapu-Lapu City, Office 365 Rangers, DepEd Lapu-Lapu City Coders, DepEd Lapu-Lapu City Team Casters.
O, sige, sir. Palayuan tayo ng mga sinashoutout, sir. Shoutout po sa mga taga-Alaska Elementary School ng Division of Cebu City. Meron din po tayo sa Upper La Perian Elementary School, at La Perian National High School in Region 9, Zamboanga del Sur. Hello din po sa mga nasa Nest Central po. Ang principal po nila ay si Dr. Sanita El Salaysay. Hello po sa mga grade 5 teachers na nagde-distribute ng USB OTG. Thank you, grade 5 teachers, for accommodating me with my sailor tickles.
Ayan, so before we end, of course, ibibigay po namin what are the things that you have to look forward to for tomorrow. So, ang mga activities natin, but before that, may pahabol tayong shoutout.
Yes po, sir, napakarami po ng pinapahabol na shoutout. Hello po kay Sir Joey Villanueva, PSDS po na SDO Caloocan. Ganon din po kay Baby Roda Montemayor ng Carizal, Burgos National High School, SDO 1, Pangasinan. Si Sir Arcadio D. Beltran, Principal 3 ng Colos Kawayan National High School, Bautista, Pangasinan, SDO 2, Pangasinan. Chris and Emmanuel Ferrer, Colos Kawan, sorry for the mistranslation, National High School, Bautista, Pangasinan, SDO, Pangasinan 2.
Ayan, so I guess the video is ready for the activities that you have to watch out for regarding with our sessions for tomorrow.
Yes.
Again, so good afternoon po, and we would like to remind everyone, wag po tayong magpuyat and magpahinga po tayo, wag pong magmadali sa registration sa ating PDLMS, diba? Teacher May. Now, that is a wrap of all the presentations on the first day of the virtual INSET. We have just started, our dear teachers. In the following days, we promise to cater more presentations that will bridge curriculum and technology.
That could not be any more exciting, Sir Jeff. I am sure that our teachers will be with us until Friday, day 5 po yan. Again, this virtual INSET is also live on DepEd Philippines and on Educational Technology Unit channel on YouTube to lead us onto a meaningful... So this will be our ending spiel, Sir Jeff.
Again, thank you, teachers. Again, this is Sir John Jefferson Sevilla from SDO Las Piñas National High School, one of your EdTech specialists and one of your Masters of Ceremony.
And I am Ma'am Maria Mian Sevilla from SDO Navotas Kaunlaran High School, also one of the EdTech specialists and one of your Masters of Ceremony. This is
the first day of EdTech's virtual INSET.
As we face the command of rapid development and technological innovation in the world, the Philippines' preparedness in advancement of its physical facilities, infrastructure, and soft skills are given focus, especially with the empowerment of teachers' capacity and capability, not only in pedagogical aspects of teaching, but the confidence in delivering instruction with the use of information and communications technology. The Office of the Undersecretary for Administration, under the leadership of Yusek Alain Delby Pasqua, established the Educational Technology Unit under the Information and Communications Technology Service. Its prime function is to empower and capacitate public school teachers and learners as required by the global demand of the fast-paced development in technology. The task of the Educational Technology Unit is to promote and solidify the innovation and digitization projects that will support the requirements of the K-12 curriculum in delivering quality, accessible, relevant, and liberating education for all. It targets different components and facets of skills development which will enable the technological advancement of the infrastructure of DepEd. This is supplemented with empowerment training programs in emerging technologies for public school teachers. The programs of the EdTech unit target the emerging pedagogies focused on open educational resources, robotics and mechatronics, coding and programming, virtual reality and augmented reality in education, mobile application development, Internet of Things, and the productivity tools for learning, which includes Microsoft Office 365, Google Apps for Education, and the different Adobe software tools. In addition, the maneuver of in-house applications such as the DepEd Commons and the DepEd Learning Management System is under the flagship of the EdTech unit. The supervision of DepEd TV in ensuring world-class produced video lessons is another task of the office. Lastly, the conduct of free online tutorial session, coined with the term eTulay, is a bridging program to support learners and parents in answering the self-learning modules pioneered with the initiative of the ICTS EdTech unit. A teacher's influence is limitless, bound with the heart for service and dedication to fulfill the greatest mission to educate the young. The ICTS Educational Technology Unit will be there to promote, to empower, and to inspire Filipino teachers and learners as we grow as a tiger in the region, hitting our target as one of the best in educational technology. Come on and join us as we make our dreams into a reality. Sama-sama tayong lahat tungo sa iisang layunin. Simulan natin ang pagbabago dahil tayo ang mga gurong magtatayo ng makabagong DepEd. Sulong Edukalidad.